Chapter 79. Aren't you very powerful before? I heard that you single-handedly slaughtered the entire Wind Pavilion. And now you just want to leave? Coward. Liang Feng said coldly. You're the coward, Qin Shui shouted at him. Everything is Wind Pavilion's doing. Don't talk nonsense if you don't know. Yes, you're the coward. Don't say that our people are cowards. Everything is Wind Pavilion's problem. The other disciples also glared angrily at Liang Feng, feeling that he had gone too far with his words. Shut up all of you. Liang Feng roared at them, and his terrifying aura pushed them back a few steps. I'm not asking you, I'm asking him. If you have the ability, come and fight me. Everything has nothing to do with your sect. He doesn't want to provoke any trouble. Jade Palace is so powerful now. But if he doesn't avenge Liang Tiancheng, he will feel unwilling. So he immediately challenged Yi Tianyan. Yi Tianyan frowned. This Liang Feng is really looking for trouble. It really makes him feel very uncomfortable. I said I'm not interested. Yi Tianyan didn't want to pay attention to him. He turned around and wanted to leave. I said you're a coward. Everyone said that you single-handedly slaughtered the entire Wind Pavilion. But I think you're just relying on the power of Jade Palace to become so strong. You're just a coward standing in a group of women, a useless man. Sure enough, the rumor is right. You've been relying on Shi Shuiyan to stay in Jade Palace, and then you can come here. You have no strength at all. You're just a toy boy. Liang Feng was angry. He has been crazily provoking Yi Tianyan. The people from other sects are gloating. This is really interesting. They want to see how Yi Tianyan will deal with it. Liang Feng's cultivation is not weak. He can be said to be in the top 3 here. Enough to do whatever he wants here. Very well, you succeeded in provoking me. Didn't you want to fight to the death? Can we start now? Yi Tianyan said coldly. This had already insulted him. If he didn't retaliate, he would really be a coward. That's good. No problem, let's start now. Liang Feng was overjoyed. He quickly drew his sword, and killing intent flashed in his eyes. This is a battle of life and death. It has nothing to do with the sect. Kill. He morphed into a sharp ray of light and charged towards Yi Tianyan. He did not expect the trial to turn into a battle of life and death before it even started. Scram. Yi Tianyan's eyes turned cold, and he kicked back at Liang Feng. His speed was quite fast, like a bolt of lightning, and he ruthlessly kicked Liang Feng. With a bang, Liang Feng was sent flying and slammed into the wall. The wall trembled, and a thick layer of dust fell from above. Then, like a deflated balloon, he slid down the wall and stopped moving. Ding successfully killed Liang Feng. Gained 9,000 EXP. Jade Heaven Sword, low-grade spirit tool. 900 crazy point. Everyone else stared dumbfoundedly at Liang Feng, who was lying on the ground. A Heavenly Splendor sect disciple quickly rushed over. After inspecting him, he exclaimed, Dead, dead. Senior brother Liang Feng is dead. Everyone was dumbfounded. They didn't expect that with just one kick, Liang Feng would die. Liang Feng's cultivation is strong, peak of spirit refinement realm. But he died with just one kick. You actually killed senior brother Liang Feng. Our sect leader will not let you go. The disciple of Magnificent Sect glared at Yi Tianyan. You all saw it just now. He said he wanted to fight to the death with me. Are you going back on your words? Yi Tianyan looked at them coldly. If any of you want to challenge me, or insult Jade Palace, I don't mind having a duel to the death with you. After saying this, Yi Tianyan turned and walked inside, and turned to Qin Shui and said, Let's go, we wasted a lot of time here. Qin Shui's beautiful eyes flashed with worship. This is the power of Yi Tianyan, the power of their elder. There is a time limit to enter here. After a certain time limit, the door will close. After the door closes, it will be 3 years before they can go out. Everyone looked at each other, their heart trembled. This is the power of Yi Tianyan? Who said that Yi Tianyan is a coward, a weakling? Or is it because of Jade Palace? How strong is he to kill a peak of spirit refinement realm with one kick? Core condensation realm? But that's not right, cultivators above spirit refinement realm can't come in. But if he is at the peak of spirit refinement realm, can he kill him with one kick? They can't figure it out. But one thing is clear. That is, Yi Tianyan really has the ability, and not a bunch of women who live off a woman. When he wanted to go somewhere else, Qin Shui immediately said, Elder Yi, where are you going? Let's walk around and see if there's anything. Yi Tianyan said, there is nothing to search in heaven's immersing ancient ruins. Except for the trial stone tablet in front. There is nothing else. Qin Shui said awkwardly. Yi Tianyan certainly knows that there is nothing here. Everything has been dug out. Even a slightly precious stone is probably dug out. He just wants to see if there is anything strange around. After all, he is here to control heaven's immersing ancient ruins to complete the quest. I know, but let me take you in first. Yi Tianyan led them inside. When he stepped into another hall, he saw a huge stone tablet standing in the center. A faint luster appeared on its surface. Around this stone tablet, there are already people meditating, shrouded in a light beam from the stone tablet, seemingly comprehending something. This is the trial stone tablet. The disciples who come in here will meditate here to comprehend this stone tablet, to obtain a unique skill. They are now meditating here, through this trial stone tablet to comprehend martial arts. According to their own level, they can comprehend different levels of martial arts. So far, the highest level of martial arts comprehended is Earth level. The lowest level is human level martial arts. It can be said that it is equivalent to a big treasure house. If they can comprehend an Earth level martial arts, then they will be rich. One must know that the Earth level martial arts in the second level faction, there will never be more than 3. If they can comprehend one, they can imagine how much contribution they will make. You can comprehend it now. I will walk around first. Yi Tianyan said. They all nodded, immediately came in front of the trial stone tablet. They all meditated. As soon as they meditated, the trial stone tablet transmitted a wave of energy, covering them, protecting them from any harm. The highest Earth level martial arts is still useful. At least it can be used as proficiency. Yi Tianyan smiled faintly, but he didn't immediately start meditating. Instead, he decided to walk around first. When he was about to walk around, the magnificent sect disciples who followed behind looked at Yi Tianyan in fear. They did not even dare to look at him. They are all afraid that Yi Tianyan will attack them. If that happens, they will all die here. Although they are a little scared, but they still bite the bullet. After all, this is a rare trial, they can't just waste it. Yi Tianyan just glanced at them, then walked away. As long as they do not provoke him, he is too lazy to care. Although killing can help him level up, it does not mean that he will kill indiscriminately. He is not a bloodthirsty person. Chapter 80. After Yi Tianyan walked around the place, he found that there is nothing here. It's just as they said. There is nothing here except for the trial stone tablet in the middle. Wandering around here was just a waste of time. Shortly after, he returned to the trial stone tablet. Just as he returned, a beam of light disappeared. Accompanying it was a beam of light that descended from the sky, and something fell into the disciple's hands. The disciple excitedly caught the martial arts book. After carefully examining it, he revealed a depressed expression. Mid-grade human-level martial arts, not an Earth-level martial arts. He shook his head, feeling that it was a pity. Although the mid-grade human-level martial arts were not bad, they were all here for the Earth-level martial arts. If they could not obtain the Earth-level martial arts, they would naturally be a little depressed. When he saw Yi Tianyan walking over, he was so scared that he quickly put away the martial arts book and hid to the side. Without the light, it was equivalent to losing protection. It was not unheard of for martial arts to be stolen. If the other party was very strong, and the martial arts were stolen, they could only swallow their anger. The most important thing was that they only had one chance. So if their martial arts were stolen, they would return empty-handed. It would be useless even if they came back next year. Everyone only had one chance. After walking out, they would not be able to enter again. This could be seen from the token. After walking in, the token's energy would be exhausted. Only after walking out would it slowly recover. In about a year or two, it would return to its original state. If they could enter and exit at will, they would have taken turns to enter instead of cultivating here. After obtaining the martial arts book, they would either start cultivating or stay here to cultivate. The concentration of spiritual energy here was higher than outside. so they hurriedly cultivated here. This was a very rare opportunity. Etianyan only glanced at him. He was not interested at all, and found a place to meditate. The disciple heaved a sigh of relief. Luckily, Etianyan was not interested in him. Otherwise he would not even know how he died. After Etianyan sat down to meditate, he was immediately enveloped by a beam of light. Moments later, he felt his consciousness being pulled into the trial stone tablet. Shortly after, he felt that he had entered an illusory realm. He was surrounded by stone tablets that were inserted into the yellow sand. It looked very strange. Each stone tablet had a different content engraved on it. Etianyan walked over and looked at the stone tablets one by one. Heaven Transformation Palm, Heaven Cloud Palm, Phantom Light Palm. When he looked at the stone tablets one by one, he discovered that they were all names of martial arts. They were all offensive martial arts, not movement techniques. The stone tablet only had the name of the martial art. As for what grade it was and what effect it had, it didn't say anything at all. In this way, the selection of a good martial art could only be judged by its name. Before coming here, he already knew a little bit about this heaven's immersing ancient ruins. He came here to choose martial arts. However, after choosing a martial art, the stone tablet would disappear forever, and would not appear a second time. Therefore, once an earth-level martial art was taken away, it would completely disappear. There's no point in remembering the name and coming back to take it. It's completely gone, so there's not much point in remembering it. But Etianyan wasn't interested in this place. He was more interested in the main quest. From here, how can he control the entire heavens immersing ancient ruins? How can I complete the quest? Etianyan frowned as he walked along the way. There were too many martial arts in front of him, but he believed that most of them were human-level martial arts. It's not surprising that the strong who created this heavens immersing ancient ruins would have so many human-level martial arts. For a first-grade force, human-level martial arts are good martial arts. But for a high-grade force, it's trash martial arts. After going around in a big circle, he really couldn't find any clues. There was no hint at all. Just looking at the large pile of stone tablets, it's impossible to find anything. Looks like I can only use my trump card. Etianyan's eyes flashed, and immediately activated luck aura. Apart from this, he really can't do anything else. Relying on this, his luck increased by 5 times in an instant. According to his 100 luck points, it's equivalent to 500 times. Of course, luck was not calculated in this way. Previously, his luck value was equivalent to 0. But under the lucky halo, he still had good luck with women, and encountered other good things. Everyone has a hidden luck. As for how high it is, it's unknown. But with the bonus of luck points, his luck naturally soared. Otherwise he wouldn't be so enthusiastic when he saw the quest with luck aura. After activating luck aura, Etianyan didn't touch any stone tablet, but walked around randomly to see if there would be any changes. After going around in a big circle, he still didn't see any changes. It's the same as before. There's still a pile of stone tablets, no change at all. Even when he glanced around, some of the stone tablets are the same as before. There is no change. Strange, even activating luck aura doesn't work this time? Etianyan frowned. Could it be that my luck is not enough? He walked around in a circle, and found that there is no point. So he could only turn off luck aura. In the end, he can only choose one of the stone tablets. No matter how he walked around here, he can't get out of here. No matter how he ran, he still returned to this area. He can't get out at all. When he chose a stone tablet that looks more pleasing to the eye, and was about to touch it, suddenly his hand felt like it was electrocuted, and quickly retracted. No, if this is a maze, then these stone tablets are equivalent to the eye of a maze. Etianyan stood up, squinted his eyes and glanced at the stone tablets, quickly constructed a cracking map in his mind, and soon locked on the place to crack this formation, the stone tablet in front of him. Etianyan slapped his thigh and scolded. Son of a bitch! I was wondering why it is useless. It turned out that I chose this stone tablet before. What a waste of my crazy point. He is very distressed, after going around in a big circle, and finally found that it is in front of him. He wasted a lot of crazy point. But it's not touch, it's destroy. Then, he smashed his fist down on the stone tablet. With a loud bang, the entire stone tablet was smashed into countless pieces. After the stone tablet was broken, the surrounding environment quickly disappeared. Whether it is the yellow sand or the stone tablet, everything disappeared. After a moment, he was in another special environment, blue sea and blue sky, a quiet island. I can really come in by destroying it. It seems that the difficulty is really not small. If I don't crack the maze outside, then I can't come in here. If I don't know, I can only choose the martial arts outside. Tianyan shook his head. If he chose to touch it, it is estimated that he will really get the martial arts instead of entering here. It seems that even if his luck is good, he knows which is the goal. But if he doesn't complete it according to the rules, it is still meaningless. If it is someone else, they will not destroy it, but touch it. Even if his luck is good, he chose the right stone tablet, but not destroy it, but touch it, then it will end in failure. But because of this, maybe he will get the earth-level martial arts. In any case, this is the right stone tablet. Chapter 81. Tianyan looked around. Except for the flowers and trees, there was nothing special. But there was a small path in front of him. He walked along the path. And after walking for a while, a small courtyard came into view. It doesn't look as broken as the outside, but the inside is an illusion. So of course, the illusion will not be destroyed, so it can maintain the original state. Although it is not destroyed, the courtyard looks very ordinary. It seems to be built with ordinary wood. Originally, things like illusions can be built at will. It can be as luxurious as you want. But in this place, it is extremely ordinary. But the more ordinary it is, the more problematic it is. True experts would simplify the Great Tao. They would focus on simplicity instead of focusing on luxury. He came to the front of the courtyard, reached out and gently knocked on the door. Dong 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 a few times in this quiet courtyard. It is particularly loud. Come in. A low voice came from inside. Tianyan was surprised. He did not expect that there is really someone here. He just knocked on the door politely. After all, this is someone else's territory. Whether or not they are here, he still needs to test. After that, he gently pushed open the door. And what entered his eyes was a courtyard filled with flowers and plants. An old man sat in a pavilion in the courtyard, and he was drinking by himself. He seemed to be very leisurely. Junior greets senior. Tianyan respectfully walked in, and respectfully saluted the old man. An expert who can create the heavens immersing ancient ruins is definitely not an ordinary person. So of course he has to be respectful. The strong will always be respected, so he also has to be respectful. There is no need to be so polite. I am not the owner of this place. The old man smiled and stood up. You are not the owner of this place? Tianyan is startled. He lives here. But he is not the owner of this place? Yes, this old man is just the manager here. You can call me Old Xian. Fated One, please follow me. Elder Xian gestured for him to enter the house. Tianyan nodded his head, and followed Elder Xian into the house. There were no other treasures in the house, but there was a memorial tablet on the table with the words Spirit King Xiantian clearly written on it. The owner of this house was Spirit King Xiantian. So it's a Spirit King. Tianyan was shocked. A Spirit King was second only to a Holy King. In fact, they were at the Void Spirit stage, and were generally referred to as Spirit Kings. In this continent, he was already an existence that stood at the pinnacle. No wonder he was able to create such a massive historical site. It was not difficult for him to have such strength. This is Master's Memorial Tablet. Elder Xian sighed. Spirit King Xiantian, he's already. Tianyan was startled. A Spirit King died just like that? Yes, so what if he's a Spirit King? He still can't escape the fate of death. Elder Xian sighed. Tianyan's expression was solemn. He respectfully said, Then this junior will first light an incense stick for senior to show his respect. Elder Xian gently waved his hand. An incense stick appeared in his hand, and he handed it to Tianyan. Tianyan took the incense stick, came to the front of the memorial tablet, and deeply bowed 3 times. His attitude was dignified and quite respectful. In his heart, He felt that it was a pity that a spirit king had fallen just like that. After bowing 3 times, he walked over with the incense stick and inserted it into the incense burner. Elder Xian looked at Yi Tianyan, nodded with satisfaction, and then said, "Not bad. You have a good temperament and a good character. You are qualified to become master's successor disciple." Yi Tianyan was startled. He only lit an incense stick. How could he be qualified to become master's successor disciple? "You don't have to be surprised. I just have the qualification. But it's better than the others, who don't even have the qualification." Elder Xian coldly snorted. Not only do they not have the slightest bit of politeness, they are not sincere towards master. They don't have the slightest bit of respect. They are the type to run away after obtaining the inheritance. They are definitely not trustworthy. You mean to say that there were indeed people who came in before, but due to a problem with their attitude, they did not obtain the inheritance? Yi Tianyan asked doubtfully. "That's right, and I even gave them a punishment," Elder Xian said in a low voice. "This is my territory. I can feel anyone's sincere respect towards master. If they do not have such thoughts, then they do not have the qualifications to obtain it." Soon after, Elder Xian smiled at him and said, "You don't have to worry, your temperament is not bad. My master has always been very hospitable and attaches great importance to etiquette. You are very suitable." Yi Tianyan could not help but wipe off the cold sweat on his forehead. Luckily, he had corrected his attitude, otherwise he would really be finished. Although he did not know what Elder Xian meant by punishment, but from the current situation, it seems that he will either die or become an idiot. Their souls are connected to the trial stone tablet. As long as they hit it hard, even if they don't die, they will definitely become an idiot. Their bodies are not affected, but they will become an idiot. It seems that sometimes it is important to pay attention to etiquette. Many cultivators rushed in, knocked open the door and wanted to snatch the treasure. Where is the slightest bit of etiquette? Who would have thought that there would be a test of etiquette to enter? What does Elder Xian want to test? Yi Tianyan asked. "If you want to obtain our master's inheritance, without a certain level of strength, you will not be able to inherit it." Elder Xian smiled. He has a good impression of Yi Tianyan. "The level you want to achieve is very simple. That is to defeat master." "Defeat master?" Yi Tianyan said in a daze. "Didn't Spirit King Xiantian already pass away? How can I compete with him?" "Of course not the real master, but the divine sense left by the master. As long as you defeat this divine sense, you will be qualified to inherit the inheritance," Elder Xian said in a deep voice. "If you fail, I will slightly impact your soul, causing this part of your memory to be erased. There will be no problem." Although they welcome many geniuses to complete the inheritance, everything depends on their own strength. If everyone knows the rules, then there will be no difficulty here. "No problem." Yi Tianyan nodded. He definitely has no problem. If he can't deal with it, then no one can. The limit here is spirit refinement realm. He is a core condensation realm cultivator. Who can he be afraid of? "Well, are you ready now?" Elder Xian asked. "Yes," Yi Tianyan said. Elder Xian nodded. With a wave of his hand, the courtyard in front of him disappeared, and in front of him is a huge martial arts arena, surrounded by empty space. There is no end to it. Then a young man appeared in front of Yi Tianyan. His eyes were closed. When he appeared, he slowly opened his eyes. A bright light burst out from his eyes, as if it can pierce through the world. Chapter 82. When Master was young, he didn't know much, so you don't have to worry about what kind of amazing martial arts Master will use. Old Xian smiled faintly and said, "As for Master's cultivation level, it is determined according to your cultivation level. The higher your cultivation level, the higher Master's cultivation level. As long as you defeat Master, you can smoothly become the successor." To be able to defeat Spirit King Xiantian, who was at the same level as him, even when he was young, he was not a simple character. "I wonder how strong are you now?" Old Xian gently raised his hand. A light shrouded Yi Tianyan and began to explore his cultivation level. After a moment of exploration, Old Xian suddenly dumbfounded, shocked. "Core condensation stage. Moreover, 7th level core condensation? Although old Xian is the manager of this place, he is the one in charge of the illusion array, so his ability is not weak, so it is not difficult to explore someone's cultivation level. But after the exploration, he was immediately dumbfounded. 7th level core condensation stage, completely beyond spirit refinement stage. Yes, Junior is at 7th level core condensation stage. I don't know why I can come in. Is this a violation of the rules? Tianyun is a little embarrassed. He doesn't want old Xian to disqualify him. That would be funny. That's strange. I clearly told you that only core condensation cultivators can come in. But you can come in. Old Xian smiled bitterly. It seems that there's a problem. But since you're here, I can't let you leave. The cultivation limit is so low, mainly because it is very flexible. Even if you repractice other martial arts, it will not waste any time. Therefore, it is set at spirit refinement stage. Since you are at core condensation stage, if the inheritance is not suitable for your cultivation, it will be a troublesome thing. Old Xian, you don't have to worry about this problem. I think there is nothing that is not suitable for my cultivation, and I don't need to abolish my previous martial arts. Tianyun has the system. The system is all-inclusive. As long as it is a martial art, it can be used on equipment. Alright, no matter what, you will have two choices when the time comes. One is to give up, but I will erase your memories. The other is to continue cultivating. But if it doesn't suit your cultivation, I will forcefully cripple your previous cultivation. Elder Xian said solemnly. This was his master's inheritance, so he had to treat it seriously and not casually spread it out. No problem. Tianyun smiled and said, Elder Xian, what is your definition of cultivation? Since you're at 7th level core condensation, then you're still at 7th level core condensation. If you're still at spirit refinement realm, then there's no need for this fight. Old Xian gently waved his hand, and a light enveloped Spirit King Xiantian. The young Spirit King Xiantian's momentum suddenly skyrocketed, soaring all the way to the sky. In Tianyun's eyes, his overall combat strength had started from 0, and had been rising crazily. 10,000, 20,000, 30,000. Until it reached almost 50,000, it finally stopped. This is already a very scary number. A normal 7th level core condensation cultivator's combat strength is about 40,000. But this Spirit King Xiantian is worthy to be called a teenager. His combat strength has reached 50,000. Spirit King Xiantian, teenager 7th level core condensation, extremely strong physique, a high-grade spirit tool. Combat strength is 50,000. This Spirit King Xiantian is really not simple. Tianyun's eyes lit up. Using the appraisal eye, Spirit King Xiantian's combat strength is really not weak. Of course, for Tianyun this is nothing. With the buff of the power suit, his combat strength has reached 60,000, which is enough to crush Spirit King Xiantian. Without the buff of the power suit, his combat strength is also about 50,000, basically the same as Spirit King Xiantian. And this is because he has the Dragon God's bloodline to strengthen his physique. Previously, he activated the Dragon God's bloodline in his body, which strengthened his physique a lot. From this point, it can be seen that Spirit King Xiantian's physique is absolutely amazing. The buff of the power suit is 100% strength, but it doesn't mean 100% combat strength. It simply increases Tianyun's strength. If he directly increases all of his strength, it means that his combat strength will explode to 100,000, which is obviously impossible. The power suit is not a divine tool. It can only be equivalent to a spirit tool. You can choose your own weapon. You can also choose the weapon we give you. It's up to you. Old Xian said. But Master doesn't need a weapon. He can only rely on his fists. Only relying on my fists? Then I will also fight with my bare fists to show my respect. Tianyun did not choose any other weapon. He chose to fight with his bare fists. Are you sure? Old Xian said. This is not a simple matter. Master's physique is much stronger than ordinary cultivators. I know you want to show respect, but what is needed here is strength. No problem, I want to use my fists. Tianyun said with a smile. I don't think I can lose to anyone with my fists. Old Xian was silent for a while, then said, "Well, as you wish. If you fail, you won't have the chance to challenge. You will be treated as a failure." "Okay," Yi Tianyan said with a smile. Seeing Yi Tianyan's determination, Old Xian can only choose to give up and immediately said, "Then let's begin." As soon as his voice fell, Spirit King Xian Tian stomped the ground with all his strength. Boom! Just like a meteorite, every time he stomped the ground, there was a feeling of the earth shaking. A strong sense of oppression rushed towards Yi Tianyan's face. Yi Tianyan's expression was indifferent. When Spirit King Xian Tian rushed towards him, he smiled and quickly reached out his hand to meet Spirit King Xian Tian's fist, without the slightest fear. Old Xian looked at this scene and shook his head, facing Spirit King Xian Tian's fist head-on. This is not a good method. It should be said that it is a stupid method. Spirit King Xian Tian's forte is his strong physique. Even if he doesn't learn any martial arts, he can still burst out a terrifying power. Bang! With a heavy punch, Yi Tianyan's palm grabbed Spirit King Xian Tian's fist, and a terrifying suction force quickly came from his palm. Absorbing Star's great technique, coupled with the Dark North divine art, a super strong suction force came from his palm, and a steady stream of spiritual energy was drawn out and flowed into Yi Tianyan's body. 1,000 experience points, 1,300 experience points, 1,200 experience points. It is still effective here. I can still absorb EXP. This made Yi Tianyan happy. Immediately activated the crazy EXP mode. Suddenly the EXP value skyrocketed. 4,000 EXP, 4,400 EXP, 4,800 EXP. A steady stream of EXP, like crazy, flowed into his body. Chapter 83. Spirit King Xian Tian was completely suppressed by Yi Tianyan. Both of his hands were tightly grabbing onto Yi Tianyan's hand. No matter how Yi Tianyan struggled, he couldn't break free. Compared to me, your physique is still a bit lacking. Yi Tianyan smiled. It's undeniable that Spirit King Xian Tian's physique is very strong. But he's even stronger. Especially with the buff from the power suit, he was firmly suppressed, unable to move at all. Spirit King Xian Tian didn't give up struggling at all. A cold light flashed in his eyes. He suddenly kicked towards Yi Tianyan. A domineering chi burst out from his foot, like a sickle trying to hook Yi Tianyan's body. But the moment he kicked, Yi Tianyan's mouth curved into a smile, immediately grabbed Spirit King Xian Tian's arm, pulled him to the side, and threw him away. But his hand didn't leave the arm that grabbed Spirit King Xian Tian's arm. After dodging the kick, Yi Tianyan pressed Spirit King Xian Tian to the ground. Because of the kick, Spirit King Xian Tian's center of gravity was unstable. Under the pressure of Yi Tianyan, he fell to the ground. Bang! Spirit King Xian Tian fell heavily on the ground, then was suddenly pulled by Yi Tianyan, turned around. His whole body was now facing the ground. Yi Tianyan quickly kneeled on his waist and pressed him to the ground. Strength is good, but in the case of suppressing you, it's nothing. Yi Tianyan smiled, opened his inventory, threw the double EXP pill into his mouth, and his EXP doubled again. In total, his EXP has increased by 6 times. Originally, he thought that he wouldn't get any EXP, so he didn't take the double EXP pill before. But now that he can get EXP, he naturally won't waste it. 6,000 EXP, 6,300 EXP, 7,000 EXP. Spirit King Xian Tian's EXP kept rising, like a monster, constantly being absorbed by Yi Tianyan. Maintaining this state, Yi Tianyan kept absorbing EXP like crazy, unable to move at all. From the beginning, Yi Tianyan already planned to do this. He just wanted to see how long Spirit King Xian Tian could be absorbed by him. Old Xian, who was watching from the side, was dumbfounded. From the very beginning, he was completely suppressed by Spirit King Xian Tian, and in terms of strength, he was even stronger than him. Under this super strong suppression, he couldn't even move a bit. What power! Very few cultivators of the same generation can surpass Master. Elder Xian felt that it was inconceivable, but he didn't stop the duel. This duel could only be considered over if one side lost. Either Yi Tianyan is sent flying, or Spirit King Xian Tian is killed. There's only one choice. Spirit King Xiantian twisted madly. But no matter how hard he struggled, he couldn't break free from Yi Tianyan's suppression. He could only obediently let Yi Tianyan extract his spiritual power, and his body gradually became transparent. Under normal circumstances, Spirit King Xiantian will only disappear when he is beheaded, but now he is slowly being drained of his spiritual energy and disappearing. Old Xian can feel the whole process. He can feel his master's EXP King Xiantian's EXP King is slowly being drained. Although this is an illusion, it is also made of EXP King Xiantian's EXP King. Once EXP King Xiantian's EXP King Xiantian's EXP King, this place will collapse. I'd like to see how long you can last. Yi Tianyan smiled. It seems like it will take a long time before he can kill Spirit King Xiantian. Looking at the EXP constantly increasing, he is naturally very happy. If it was any other 7th level core condensation cultivator, they would have already been sucked dry by him. Spirit King Xiantian has a lot of EXP in his EXP King's EXP. In this state, Yi Tianyan has been crazily absorbing Spirit King Xiantian's EXP for a long time, adding up to hundreds of thousands of EXP. He still can't suck Spirit King Xiantian dry. He looked down at the suppressed Spirit King Xiantian. He seems to be quite strong. His body is slightly transparent. The key is not only Spirit King Xiantian has become a little transparent, even the illusion has become a little transparent. What kind of martial art is this? How can you keep absorbing Spirit King Xiantian? Old Xian finally couldn't help but ask. His face showed a wry smile. If you continue to absorb Spirit King Xiantian like this place will collapse. Yi Tianyan looked at Old Xian and smiled. No way, this place will collapse so easily? If you continue to absorb Spirit King Xian like this, you will definitely collapse. The heavens immersing ancient ruins has been here for too long. The effect of the spirit gathering array is getting weaker and weaker. The ability to gather Spirit King Xiantian is getting worse and worse. If you continue to absorb Spirit King Xiantian like this, you won't be able to absorb Spirit King Xiantian anymore. This evildoer seems to be addicted to it. Normally, cultivators would just quickly defeat them, but he's actually suppressing Spirit King Xiantian. It seems like he is addicted to absorbing Spirit King Xiantian's Spirit King Xiantian. Of course, Yi Tianyan can't be full. No matter how much Spirit King Xiantian has, he can absorb it all and convert it into EXP. Unless he reaches the peak, he can keep absorbing Spirit King Xiantian. But I didn't even defeat Spirit King Xiantian. Does this count as defeating him? Yi Tianyan asked. This doesn't count as defeating Master. I can't interfere you. Let go of Master, then defeat him. Old Xian said in a pleading tone. If he continues to stay like this, the entire heavens immersing ancient ruins will collapse. Just because it hasn't collapsed now doesn't mean it won't collapse in the future. Old Xian is relying on Spirit King Xian to stay here. If he doesn't have Spirit King Xiantian, he will disappear. Well, Yi Tianyan smiled and said, let's talk about it later. Old Xian's heart was about to collapse. Before he thought that Yi Tianyan was very respectful, but now it seems that he is a bit like a rogue. You can't blame him. He finally found a big piece of meat. How can he let it go? Continuously absorbing EXP is much faster than looking for high-level cultivators to kill. At least it saves a lot of trouble. After absorbing for a long time, a pleasing sound finally came. Ding! Congratulations to player Yi Tianyan. Successfully broke through to core condensation stage level 8. Finally leveled up. This process is quite long. Yi Tianyan smacked his lips. Although the absorption speed is not slow, but it requires a lot more EXP. That's why it took so long to absorb. After he leveled up, he saw that the surroundings are more transparent, but it seems that it can still last for a while. Although there are some problems with the spirit gathering array in heavens immersing ancient ruins, but it is more or less useful. Little friend, have you absorbed enough? Is it not enough? Old Xian looked at Yi Tianyan. He can't help but persuade him. This attitude is no longer that of a superior. It's more like a pleading attitude. If he could intervene, he would definitely judge Yi Tianyan as the winner, instead of watching from the sidelines. Almost, it's just a little bit. It won't collapse so easily. Tianyan smiled. Such a big heavens immersing ancient ruins. How can it collapse so easily? Chapter 84. After listening, old Xian almost vomited blood. He still wants to absorb more? How long will it take for him to reach the peak? That's enough, although I don't know what kind of martial arts you practice. But if you absorb too much, your spiritual power will be too impure. It will cause the spiritual power in your body to be unstable. Old Xian began to use his knowledge to persuade Tianyan. Old Xian is right, so I plan to get up in a while. Tianyan smiled. He naturally knows this truth, but it doesn't apply to him. It's just that he thought, it's not easy to catch a big fat piece of meat. If he doesn't absorb more, it'll be a waste. Although he will be able to take control of the heavens immersing ancient ruins, it doesn't mean that he can move it away. So he needs to absorb as much EXP as possible to improve his cultivation. Well, I hope you can hurry up. Old Xian wiped the cold sweat on his forehead. In the end, after Tianyan absorbed more than 500,000 EXP, he decided to give up. He wanted to absorb a little more, until he reaches 9th level core condensation before leaving, or until he reaches peak core condensation. But it seems that if he continues to absorb like this heavens immersing ancient ruins will really collapse. Although this place was built by the Spirit King, but it's been a long time. If he was at his peak, he can keep absorbing like crazy without any problem. It's estimated that the Spirit Gathering Array can replenish it much faster than him. But now it's been a long time. It's already good enough that it still exists. If it weren't for the Spirit Gathering Array, it would have completely collapsed. Almost at the same time, Tianyan bounced up. The suppressed Spirit King Xiantian also bounced up. Just as he stood up, he attacked Tianyan. This divine sense can only attack. There is no other communication. Only when it is killed will it disappear. Break for me. Tianyan's eyes narrowed. He swung his fist and punched the Spirit King Xiantian, sending him flying. Immediately, he stepped on the ground again. He chased after the Spirit King. Both of his palms combined into a fist. He punched the Spirit King again. Boom. After Spirit King Xiantian was slammed into the ground, his body suffered heavy injuries. There are faint cracks. Tianyan didn't let Spirit King Xiantian go. He punched his body heavily. Spirit King Xiantian didn't even have time to bounce back. He was hit by this heavy punch. Bang! In the end, Spirit King Xiantian turned into countless stars and dissipated in the air. He was completely defeated. Ding successfully killed juvenile Spirit King Xiantian, gaining 10,000 EXP, 3,400 crazy point. Spirit King Xiantian EXP. Spirit King. EXP of Tian. Exis didn't expect. It Tian EXP of this. It XT. XT Spirit. Longdani it. It's finally over. Tianyan shook his head. He looked at Old Xian and said, Old Xian, did I complete the test? Old Xian shook his head. Seeing that Tianyan finally stopped absorbing, he was relieved. Congratulations on completing the test. You can now obtain Master's Inheritance. Including the control of heavens immersing ancient ruins? Tianyan quickly added. Yes, as long as you get Master's Inheritance, then the control of heavens immersing ancient ruins will naturally belong to you. Old Xian smiled. Very good, that's what I need. Tianyan smiled. Gaining control of heavens immersing ancient ruins is equivalent to occupying it, naturally completing the task. Come with me. Although Tianyan continued to absorb spiritual power, making the spiritual power here a little thin, but it doesn't violate any rules. It can only be said that Tianyan's level is very high. This is not a bad thing, in fact it's a good thing. The stronger the inheritor, the better, otherwise, how can he be worthy of the inheritance? Immediately, Old Xian waved his hand, the surrounding space changed, and in front of them is the outermost trial stone tablet. It looks exactly the same, but on the surface, it's different. When they looked at the stone tablet before, they couldn't see what was written on it. Now Tianyan can clearly see what is written on the stone tablet. Xiantian Divine Tactics? Tianyan saw the title. He felt that it's not that simple. Because the master of this place is called Spirit King Xiantian. Does this mean that by relying on this divine tactics, one can reach Spirit King level? I believe you can see. This is the divine tactics that Master has improved countless times. As long as your talent is not weak, then you can continue to cultivate until you reach Spirit King level. Elder Xian immediately added, this is a heaven-tier martial art, and it's a middle-tier heaven-tier martial art. Unfortunately, I'm at the end of my lifespan, and I'm unable to improve this martial art to a high-tier heaven-tier martial art. He sighed deeply, feeling that it's still a pity. A high-grade heaven-level martial art can be considered complete. Only then can one reach Saint King level. To be able to create a martial art and cultivate it to Spirit King level is already very amazing. Tianyan knows the difficulty. A martial art needs to be improved many times before it can become extremely perfect and suitable for cultivation. Otherwise, if he were to go berserk, his cultivation would probably be crippled. But a heaven-level martial art is already quite amazing. Even a third-grade force does not have a heaven-level martial art. Only fourth-grade forces have a heaven-level martial art, and they are extremely rare. Yes, the difficulty is not small. So you have to inherit Master's mantle, cultivate this inheritance, and then improve it, perfect the Xian Tian divine tactics. This is Master's last wish. Old Xian said. Tianyan nodded. I will cultivate this martial art well. If you want to cultivate this martial art, in addition to your talent, you also need to meet a relatively harsh condition. Old Xian solemnly said. What harsh condition? Tianyan asked. Your blood energy must be strong enough, and your body must be strong enough. Old Xian explained. The Xian Tian divine tactics is a martial art that can make one's defense to the extreme. So it needs a huge amount of blood energy to support it. Super strong defense and vulnerability. From the beginning, you will be in an invincible position. Immediately, Tianyan displayed the Dragon God bloodline. The surging blood energy and strong body shocked Old Xian speechless. Is this okay? Tianyan said indifferently. Old Xian was silent for a while, then said in a low voice. Monster. If you do not meet this condition, you need to strengthen the tempering to be able to cultivate it. Now, Tianyan completely met the standard, even exceeding his expectations. Then let's start now. You start to comprehend the Xian Tian divine tactics. What needs to be tested is your comprehension. When the time came, he would see if he could master it. If he couldn't, he could only say sorry. Of course, you only need to cultivate the first 2 levels. Old Xian said in a low voice. Every martial art has its own characteristics. If it is not compatible, it will be extremely difficult to cultivate. Chapter 85. In the blink of an eye, almost a week had passed. Outside the trial steel, everyone woke up from their meditation contentedly. Although it was only a short week, it was better than cultivating outside for 2 months. They came here for 2 reasons. Other than obtaining martial arts, the other reason was to take advantage of this opportunity to cultivate. With such dense spiritual energy, they naturally could not let it go. Some cultivators had broken through here, which was enough to see that the spiritual energy density was too much of a benefit. But now that they were about to go out, the most important person had not woken up. That person was Tianyan. This made them very shocked. Tianyan had not woken up from his enlightenment, and was still shrouded in this light. He had been comprehending for so long, an entire week. The others could come out in less than a quarter of an hour. There was originally nothing inside, just a large pile of stone steels. Then they could come out by relying on luck. It was quite fast. But now, Tianyan had stayed inside for a week, which made them dumbfounded. They should say that he was a weirdo. I have already woken up from my seclusion. Why is he still comprehending? Could it be that he has been choosing martial arts inside and hesitating? It is really possible, but this is not worth it. Is it that difficult for him to choose martial arts? What a joke. This is not worth it at all. If this continues, when the door closes, he will be a fool and unable to get out. The other cultivators laughed. They felt that Tianyan was a fool. He had been choosing for so long and had missed the opportunity to cultivate. This was such a good cultivation environment. But he did not come out. Instead, he chose martial arts inside. Wasn't he a fool? This was their general thought, including Qin Shui and the others. They all thought that Yi Tianyan was choosing martial arts inside. All along, many people did not know what martial arts were inside. They did not know that as long as they could break the maze, they could enter the trial. After all, those who failed had already become idiots or died. If they succeeded, they would not have been qualified to enter. This control would have long been taken by others. It's almost time to prepare. Everyone inside come out. The door is about to close. A shout came from outside the door. They couldn't come in, but their voices could still pass in. Yi Tianyan's situation was very strange, but they didn't want to stay here any longer. When the time came, they would have to wait for 3 years before they could leave. With their abilities, they wouldn't be able to hold on for 3 years. Let alone 3 years, they would die here in a year. For the time being, they couldn't survive by just absorbing spiritual energy, without eating or drinking. Such a situation could only be achieved by reaching a higher cultivation base. Senior sister, we are about to go out. Why hasn't Elder Yi woken up yet? Did something happen? And Ling was very anxious. They were about to go out, but their elder still hadn't woken up. Qin Shui frowned and said, I don't know about this, but looking at Elder Yi's situation, he might have really entered a strange state, or he's stuck inside. It's impossible for us to break this light. Now we can only go out and tell Great Elder, we can't stay here. The light from Trial Stone Tablet is not something they can break at all. They can only choose to leave, otherwise they will be locked up here. Jade Palace will lose even more. There were 7 disciples here, and all of them were talented disciples. This is not heartless, but it's useless to stay here. They finally looked at Yi Tianyan and quickly went out. While going out, they were also vigilant of other sect disciples, whether they will attack them. It turns out that it's superfluous, not to mention that Jade Palace is now in an uproar, saying that Jade Palace is super strong. No one dares to provoke them. Moreover, they all obtained human-level martial art. There is no need to take risks to rob it. When they just went out, a disciple of Hua Tian sect immediately reported to Sect Master Hua Huan. Sect Master, Liang Feng was killed by Yi Tianyan. What? Sect Master Hua Huan was startled, and immediately his eyes burst with killing intent. What happened? Great Elder hurriedly came over, and his heart sank. Sure enough, Yi Tianyan made trouble again. Sect Master Hua Huan, you can't blame our people. Your disciple said that he wants to have a life and death duel with our junior brother. Junior brother agreed, and then this situation happened. Qin Shui stood up and said, this matter, many people saw, including the disciples of other sects. They heard it and saw it. Life and death duel. Life and death has nothing to do with sect. Sect Master Hua Huan frowned. Liang Feng is the disciple they focus on training, and he died just like that. It's a waste of resources. Is that so? Sect Master Hua Huan looked at his disciple and said, yes, speak louder. Sect Master Hua Huan stared at his disciple coldly and said, yes. The disciple began to shout. Waste. Since it's a life and death duel, Liang Feng died. That means he is incompetent. Sect Master Hua Huan slapped the disciple, and at the same time said coldly, apologize to Jade Palace's Great Elder. Yes, Sect Master. The disciple hurriedly climbed up, covered his swollen face, and said to Great Elder, I'm sorry, it's all our senior brother's fault. This has nothing to do with your disciple. I'm sorry, Great Elder Mou. Sect Master Hua Huan apologized. It's okay. Great Elder replied indifferently. She knows that Sect Master Hua Huan just doesn't want to provoke Jade Palace. If it wasn't for Jade Palace suppressing 3 major forces recently, Sect Master Hua Huan would never have such a good attitude. Immediately, Sect Master Hua Huan turned back to his position and began to count the martial arts he obtained. His eyes were full of killing intent. He endured his anger, no matter who was wrong. The disciple he painstakingly trained was killed. How can he not be angry? What's the situation? Where is Elder Yi? Great Elder looked up and found that the troublemaker is not here. Elder Yi, he is still meditating in the Trial Stone Tablet. It's been almost a week, and he still hasn't comprehended anything. Qin Shui said worriedly. If this continues, the gate will close. What did you say? Great Elder was shocked. Elder Yi hasn't woken up since he started meditating. This disciple suspects that he is trapped inside. Qin Shui said again. What the hell is going on? It doesn't make sense. Is he always choosing martial arts? Great Elder frowned. But that's not right. Although those martial arts are good, it's not worth wasting so much time to choose. Is he really trapped inside? If he is really trapped inside, then it will be troublesome. There is less than a day left. If this continues, the gate will close, and the next time will be 3 years later. Chapter 86. Heaven's immersing ancient ruins can only be opened for a week at most. This is not their regulation. The concentration of spiritual power inside is so high. They can't wait for all disciples to stay inside for a while. However, this was not something they could manage. After a week, the door would automatically close. As for why this will happen, they are not very clear. Anyway, at most a week, after the time limit, the door will close. So if this continues, Yi Tianyin will be locked inside, and many people gloated over his misfortune. Among them, Sect Master Hua Huan can't wait for Yi Tianyin to not come out, so he is trapped inside. The situation outside is that this disciple of Jade Palace is too stupid. He is still choosing martial arts. It has been a long time since such an idiot appeared. When it was first opened, there might still be such a situation where one stayed inside and did not come out. After many years, it has not appeared, unless he died inside. Otherwise he will come out. If Yi Tianyin is trapped inside, it is equivalent to a big joke in Jade Palace. A disciple is too greedy, choosing martial arts for too long, leading to death inside. Yi Tianyin continued to comprehend the Xiantian divine art. To be precise, he didn't comprehend the Xiantian divine art, but he copied the content of the Xiantian divine art into the system. The system is frantically reading the data above, but this heaven-level martial art is really not simple, so the reading speed is too slow. I didn't expect the appraisal eye to have this effect, but the speed is a bit slow. The appraisal eye can brand any martial arts into the mind. As long as it is branded in the mind, it is equivalent to directly learning it. But the speed is a bit slow. The data is read bit by bit. It can only be said that the level is too low, although it can be upgraded. But it needs 50,000 crazy point. It is not enough. He can only do it step by step. Finally, it took a lot of time to copy all the martial arts. Ding successfully cultivated Xiantian divine art missing version. At this time, there is one more Xiantian divine art. There is no conflict. It is like equipping it. There is no difficulty at all. Old Xian, this junior has successfully cultivated it. Yi Tianyin stood up and smiled. Succeeded? So fast? Elder Xian was stunned. He felt that only a week was a very short period of time. The Xiantian divine art was so profound that it was impossible to cultivate it to the end in one go. Furthermore, each level corresponded to a different level of cultivation, so there was no need for the later levels. If one's cultivation wasn't high enough, one wouldn't be able to use it. Yi Tianyin smiled faintly and said, Yes, I have already mastered the second level. You mastered the second level so quickly? Elder Xian's eyes widened. To be able to learn the second level in a short week, he estimated that he would need at least a month to master the second level. Yes, I've already learned the second level. Yi Tianyin said with certainty. Elder Xian was silent for a moment before he solemnly said, Then show it to me. He had to confirm it. Yi Tianyin nodded and quickly activated the Xiantian divine art. Immediately, a layer of strange energy appeared on his body and covered his body like a crystal. After a while, it looked like an invisible armor covering his body. It looked a little transparent, but it released an indestructible aura that made him feel very at ease. It was a feeling that no one could hurt him if he released it. Of course, the Xiantian divine art was not limited to this. Under this layer of armor, the power of an attack was also greatly increased. After all, it was equivalent to forming an indestructible shield with spiritual power. It was also very painful to hit someone. After looking at it for a while, Elder Xian finally believed that Yi Tianyin had really learned it. He immediately laughed and said, You have indeed comprehended the second level. It seems that your comprehension is quite high. It only took you a week to complete it. I just put in a little more effort. Tianyan smiled faintly and humbly. Don't be modest. Based on your previous strength, you were stronger than Master when he was young. It is normal for you to have such comprehension. Elder Xian smiled and said, since there is no problem, this Xiantian divine art is yours. I will impart it to you later and brand it in your memory. Practice it well from now on. Elder Xian pointed at Tianyan's forehead, and a light poured into Tianyan's head. Tianyan immediately felt that there was an extra martial art in his memory, but he had to slowly memorize it to be able to fully memorize it. But he had already memorized all of it before, so there was no need for Elder Xian to do so. Well, now you are the inheritor of heaven's immersing ancient ruins. You will take over Master's mantle. Elder Xian looked at him and said respectfully, greetings, young Master. Ding, successfully completed Heaven's Immersing Ancient Ruins mission. Reward, control of Heaven's Immersing Ancient Ruins 100. 000 EXP 100. 000 Crazy Point, Sword of Infinity, Soul Tool. The reward kept popping up, which made Tianyan secretly happy. He finally completed the main mission. He almost thought that he would not be able to complete it. Immediately, he investigated the Sword of Infinity, and the effect immediately appeared. Sword of Infinity, low-grade soul tool, invincible double critical damage. This effect made Tianyan unable to open his eyes. Double critical damage. For a long time, his critical hit rate is relatively low. There is no effect that increases critical hit rate, so the effect is relatively limited. Increasing his luck aura, and luck aura can increase the critical hit rate. If he can get an accessory that increases critical hit rate, it would be even better. Of course, he doesn't need the critical hit damage effect. Just the low-grade soul tool is already very scary. Is there anything I need to do now? Tianyan said to Elder Xian. Yes, the former master's biggest wish is to return to the sect to see the situation. But his body is dying, so he can only sit here. Elder Xian sighed and said, the former master hopes that the inheritor can return to the sect to help. If possible, join the former master's sect and become a disciple. Which sect? Tianyan raised his eyebrows. To be able to cultivate such a genius, it must not be a simple force. Heaven's top mansion, Elder Xian said solemnly. Heaven's top mansion? Tianyan thought for a moment, but he didn't expect it. To be able to cultivate a spirit king, he believed that the force must be strong. Heaven's top mansion is a third-level force. First level is the palace, second level is the sect, and third level is the mansion. Mansion is not a family's mansion. The mansion here is quite a large force, gathering the strongest of the strong. But he has never heard of Heaven's top mansion. Either it is too far away, or it has declined. It was impossible for a force to maintain its strength forever. There would come a day when it would decline. This was not strange at all. Many forces had declined with the passage of time, so it all depended on their own management. Ding! Received main quest strengthen Jade Palace. Promote Jade Palace to second level force Jade Sect. Reward. 1 million EXP. Enhanced lottery roulette. 1 crazy point. 100,000 crazy point. Chapter 87. It's not easy to promote a faction from first-level faction to second-level faction. First of all, it needs enough strong core condensation cultivators. But Jade Palace meets that requirement. The gap lies in the disciples. Jade Palace's disciples are generally in body refinement realm. The number of spirit refinement realm is very small, and there are very few female cultivators. So the number of spirit refinement realm is even smaller. The key lies here. The number of spirit refinement realm disciples must reach more than 50 to be considered as second-level faction. Core condensation realm cultivators are from here. That is, the backbone of the faction must reach a certain number. There are less than 10 spirit refinement realm disciples in Jade Palace, and there are still 40 more to reach 50. It will take a long time. It requires a lot of financial and material resources. It's not easy to break through. Otherwise it would have already become a second-level faction. Let me help you. This can only be solved by alchemy. Tianyan touched his chin. but the reward is quite attractive. Not to mention a million EXP. There is also an enhanced version of the lottery roulette. What is going on? It seems that after going back, I will be very busy. Tianyan nodded, thinking that the reward is quite satisfactory. Immediately he looked up at old Xian and asked, "Is there any martial arts here? Does it all belong to me?" "Yes. Everything here is already young masters, including those martial arts," old Xian said. "Then take me to see it," Tianyan said excitedly. "Okay." Immediately they exited the illusion. Tianyan woke up from meditation, and then old Xian appeared in front of him. But it's not a real entity, but a virtual image. Relying on the array here, old Xian can still appear here. Rumble. At this time there was a sound outside. Tianyan turned his head, and found that the door began to slowly close. "This door is closed, I should be able to open it, right?" Tianyan asked. "Of course, no matter who comes in, there is no problem," old Xian said. "Well, very good. This is absolute control. Everything here is under his control. Then take me there now." Elder Xian nodded. With a wave of his hand, they disappeared from where they were, and were teleported into a special space. When he entered this space, Tianyan saw a lot of martial arts piled up here. With a glance, there were quite a few human-level martial arts. There were basically no Earth-level martial arts, only two. Only these two Earth-level martial arts are left? Tianyan was stunned. Yes, all the previous ones have been taken away. Only these human-level martial arts are left. Elder Xian answered truthfully. If one is taken away, there will be one less. There are no rubbings here. Alright. Tianyan felt very helpless. Human-level martial arts were not very useful. Earth-level martial arts were the most important. Immediately they all rushed back. Tianyan, who is in heaven's immersing ancient ruins, is not in a hurry to come out. He can control this heaven's immersing ancient ruins, so he can come and go at will. But he is not in a hurry to go out. He is mainly worried about being discovered by others. If they see that he can control the door of heaven's immersing ancient ruins, this is not a good thing. This heaven's immersing ancient ruins can be used as the last trump card. If something happens to Jade Palace, he can lead all the disciples of Jade Palace to hide here. Although heaven's immersing ancient ruins is very old, it can withstand the attack of other forces without any pressure. In addition to these martial arts, is there anything else in heaven's immersing ancient ruins? Tianyan asked. Yes, there is a cultivation room, an armory. I will take young master to see it now. Old Xian took him to other places. But this time he can't teleport. He can only teleport to the trial stone tablet. Spirit King Xian Tian's cultivation is amazing, but it doesn't mean that he has so much time to carve a teleportation formation everywhere. It's too much energy. There is no need to waste it. Chapter 88. Tianyan, under the leadership of Old Xian, went to find a lot of weapons, but the grade is not very high. All of them are ordinary iron or spirit tool. There is no soul tool. This is more embarrassing. Just these weapons. Tianyan pointed to the weapons in the arsenal. There are spirit tools and ordinary iron. Because it has been stored here for too long, ordinary iron really became ordinary iron. It is equivalent to a pile of scrap iron. Under the ravages of time, ordinary grade weapons are bound to be damaged. Spirit tools are also inevitable. A lot of them are damaged, although the rest are not damaged, but there is no difference between them and scrap iron. Even if you want to refine it again, it is useless. It has been stored here for too long. Don't know how many years. Yes, because there has been no successor, so I haven't come here for a long time. I didn't expect these weapons to be damaged. Old Xian is a little embarrassed. He thought he can give more things to the successor. He did not expect these weapons to be a pile of scrap iron. Well, I can understand that. Tianyan sighed. This can be seen from the situation outside. This ancient site has become a bit dilapidated. The things inside must not be any better. Immediately, Tianyan walked over. In front of Old Xian's shocked eyes, he rolled up a lot of scrap iron. After rolling it up, Tianyan sold the pile of copper and iron in one breath. The crazy point is simply terrible. The damaged spirit tool is worth at most dozens of crazy point. Some are even worth more than 10 crazy point, very cheap. Ordinary iron is even more terrible, only a few crazy point, it is really low. But Yi Tianyan doesn't care. He just helped to clean up this pile of scrap iron. There is no point in staying here. Okay, that's about it. Yi Tianyan looked at the empty space, finally feeling a lot better. Immediately he clicked on the current status bar to see the situation. Player, Yi Tianyan level 28, 8th level core condensation, EXP. 58728 crazy point prestige. 130 points cultivation technique. Dark North divine art. Dragon god secret art. Xiantian divine art skills. Absorbing stars great technique, sky cloud steps. Blood fiend soaring sky weapon. Frost fist scarlet dagger. Wind chasing blade. Blood fiend divine spear. Sword of endlessness armor. Snow wolf battle boots divine armor. Shadow cloak divine ability. Crazy mode lucky halo bloodline dragon god. Bloodline ornaments. Forging god hammer power bracelet. Power ring power belt blood fiend bracelet all items. 18 recovery pills. 5 double EXP pills. Gift pack LV31. HP *1. Bad luck pill slowly accumulating. Crazy point reached 58,000. Enough to upgrade the appraisal eye. On this question, he was slightly conflicted. The appraisal eye was not particularly necessary, so he felt a little hesitant. Forget it, let's just level up. There's no point in keeping it now. Yi Tianyan gritted his teeth and used the 50,000 crazy points to upgrade appraisal eye. Ding consumed 50,000 crazy point upgrade appraisal eye. Ding. Successfully upgraded appraisal eye. Appraisal eye added new functions. Memory speed and reading speed doubled. Able to inspect more detailed data. Next level requires 50,000 crazy point. Memory speed and reading speed doubled. This is no doubt. So the speed of reading martial arts is faster. But more detailed data, what will it be? Then he used himself to test. And immediately the accurate data appeared. Yi Tianyan. Cultivation level 8 core condensation. Divine armor combat strength 61,000. Martial arts. Dragon god secret art, Xiantian divine art. Weakness, no weakness. There was an additional function, and that was the ability to report all the martial arts one possessed. Most importantly, there was an additional weakness. Yi Tianyan looked up at Old Xian next to him again to see if he can find more detailed data. Old Xian, cultivation, peak of core condensation stage, intangible, damage nullified combat power. 83,000 points martial arts, Xiantian divine art, flying thunder palm. Weakness. Can only be killed by destroying the heavens immersing ancient ruins formation, otherwise cannot be killed. Kill will get 20,000 EXP, 3,000 crazy point. Possible drop items. Xiantian divine art, heaven level, flying thunder palm, primeval chaos palm. A lot of things are listed. Even the treasures that can be dropped are listed. Worth it, it's really worth it. Yi Tianyan patted his thigh. Before he thought that the appraisal eye is nothing special. After the upgrade, at most the reading speed is a little faster. But now it seems that he was too naive. He didn't expect a lot of functions to be added, not only to detect martial arts, but also to detect weaknesses. In fact, he is very satisfied with these 2 points, especially the weakness which is very detailed. Now there is a list of dropped treasures. This is amazing. Seeing that the person has a good treasure, he will definitely drop it. No matter how low-key a person is, under his appraisal eye, everything will be exposed. But whether it will drop or not, it's another matter. But at least he can see what will drop. Previously, he had been vexed over this matter. He did not know if the other party would drop anything. If it was something worthless, he would not even bother activating the lucky halo. Old Xian frowned. He doesn't know what Yi Tianyan is doing. He is laughing like crazy. Did he go crazy when he saw a pile of broken copper and iron? Young master, what's wrong with you? These weapons are not good. But you can go to the cultivation room, it's not bad. Old Xian comforted. Well, take me to the cultivation room. Yi Tianyan stopped laughing, satisfied. Sure enough, things that can be upgraded can't be useless. This 50k crazy point is really worth it. Instead of using it for lottery, it is better to use it to level up. The key is to level up first. Immediately, old Xian took him to the cultivation room. There is no problem here, because there is a spirit gathering formation, so the concentration of spiritual power in these cultivation rooms is extremely high. In addition, the area where Heaven's immersing ancient ruins is located is relatively rich in spiritual power. Spirit King Xiantian will not choose a random place to build a temple. This is definitely a good place, so there is no doubt that there is more spirit gathering formation. It's just that the spirit gathering formation is a bit broken. It needs to be repaired. As long as Yi Tianyan repaired a little, he can't say that it will restore the previous effect, but it will definitely restore a lot of spirit gathering formation. At that time, it can become a very good cultivation place, definitely better than the location where Jade Palace is located. Well, this is also good. Is there any other place? Yi Tianyan asked. These are all hidden places. They really need to dig 3 feet to be able to dig. But this place is not so easy to destroy, so they can't dig. No, this is it, old Xian said. Chapter 89. When Yi Tianyan felt that it was about time, he came to the door. When he came out, he saw a storage ring on the ground. He picked it up and looked at it carefully. He was surprised. Isn't this the Great Elder's ring? Suddenly he knew the situation. They all thought that he was trapped inside, so they threw the storage ring in so that he would have something to eat. If he was trapped here for 3 years without food, he would definitely die. But even if he had something to eat, he would still die, because Elder Xian will personally come out to get rid of them. Within a week, if they did not break this maze and come in to accept the test, the result will be death. Staying here will only waste the spiritual power here. So they prepared a lot of food to stay here to cultivate, but they all died here. Holding the storage ring, Yi Tianyan was very touched. At least they were willing to do this. It's time to go back. Then Yi Tianyan opened the door. Under his control, the door began to slowly open to the side with a rumble sound. It was not difficult to control. With just a thought, he could easily control the environment here, naturally including the door. After opening a gap, he quickly crawled out. After he crawled out, there was no one outside. He purposely stayed in there for a few more days before he came out. If there was someone outside, it would not be a good thing if they saw him coming out. Boom! With a loud sound, the door was completely closed. When Yi Tianyan nodded with satisfaction, suddenly his eyes turned cold. He looked to the side. Who's there? The direction he was looking at was a forest, hundreds of meters away from here. From where he looked, there was no one, just a forest. Immediately, his eyes turned cold and quickly disappeared. Immediately, he felt a creepy killing intent shrouding him. His heart sank. He did not expect that after hiding inside for a few days, there was still someone outside, and their cultivation was not weak. It seems that my hunch was right, so I came back and waited for a few days. I didn't expect you to be able to open this door and enter the heavens immersing ancient ruins at will. I knew you were a bit strange. Normally people don't take too long to choose the trial steel, but you stayed here for a whole week. There must be something special. I didn't expect you to be able to control the heavens immersing ancient ruins. At this time, a familiar figure appeared from the forest, sneering at Yi Tianyan. Sect Master Huacan. When Yi Tianyan saw who it was, he didn't expect it to be sect leader Hua Gong of the Splendid Sect. He really was a schemer. Everyone else thought he was an idiot who would be trapped here forever. He didn't expect to see Yi Tianyan coming out of the heavens immersing ancient ruins after just 2 days. This means that he will be able to control the heavens immersing ancient ruins at will. If he gains control, then the heavens immersing ancient ruins will be his, and all the treasures inside will belong to him. What? Are you surprised to see me? When I saw you coming out, I was even more surprised. But even more surprised. Sect leader Huacan smiled happily. Others thought you would be trapped inside. But I don't quite believe that you are stupid enough to choose martial arts for so long. Plus you can kill my disciple. Your cultivation must be at the peak of spirit refinement realm. A peak of spirit refinement realm cultivator. Why would he choose martial arts for so long? I don't think it's possible. It turns out that I'm not wrong. Staying here for so long is not in vain. Now I'll give you a choice, that is, hand over the control of the heavens immersing ancient ruins, and I'll leave your corpse intact. At the end of his words, his voice became murderous. He has already regarded Tianyin as a corpse. He not only wants to gain control of the heavens immersing ancient ruins, but he also wants to kill Tianyin to avoid future troubles. Hand over the control of the heavens immersing ancient ruins, and only leave my corpse intact. Sect leader Hua Ken, it seems that you don't know how to do business. Tianyin's face is indifferent. He doesn't take the murderous aura seriously. I don't know how to do business, but this deal is not up to you to disagree. After I kill you, I'll search your storage ring. Sect leader Hua Ken has long believed that Tianyin's storage ring contains something that controls the heavens immersing ancient ruins. He doesn't know that killing Tianyin is useless. The one who really controls the heavens immersing ancient ruins is Old Xian. If Tianyin dies, then he can't open the heavens immersing ancient ruins. It seems that I can't escape this time. Tianyin smiled lightly. It seems that you're not too stupid. Make a choice. If you don't resist, I can make your death less painful. After killing my disciple, I can let you die a little more comfortably. I'm already very kind to you. To be honest, from the outside, your talent is still very good. At such a young age, you are already at the peak of spirit refinement realm. But in front of me, you can't even withstand a single blow. Sect leader Hua Ken said as he walked towards Tianyin. The pressure gradually increased. He wants to make Tianyin feel more pressure. Sect leader Hua Ken thought that Tianyin's cultivation is only at the peak of spirit refinement realm. This thinking has been fixed. After all, only cultivators with this cultivation can enter the heavens immersing ancient ruins. Then let's give it a try. Detailed data of sect leader Hua Ken appeared in front of Tianyin's eyes. Hua Ken, 6th level of core condensation. Wearing a high-grade spirit armor. Combat power 40,000. Martial arts learned. Heavenly dragon palm, falling rain movement technique. Weakness, attacks the shoulder to confuse the opponent. Items that will drop. Heavenly dragon palm, falling rain movement technique. 5 times EXP pill. 100,000 EXP pill. 10,000 to 50,000 gold. Detailed data appeared in front of him. Tianyin's mouth hooked up into a sneer. Playing with him is too inexperienced. It seems that you are stubborn. If that's the case, then don't blame me. Sect leader Hua Ken waved his palm. The power of 6th level of core condensation was released. Layers of sandstorm rolled up on the ground. Then a sand dragon appeared on his palm and wrapped around his arm. Just as he was about to attack, an even faster figure rushed over and punched him. Pung! Sect master Hua Huan was sent flying. He rolled on the ground several times, and a few of his teeth were knocked out. His whole body was stunned. He didn't know what was going on. He just punched him. When he wanted to get up, a figure rushed over, stepped on his head and said indifferently, "Who is to blame now?" Sect leader Hua Ken glanced at the figure from the corner of his eye. He was shocked. The punch just now shocked him. Just the strength and speed of the figure. He knew that it is far beyond him. Chapter 90. Sect Master Huaxian was stunned on the spot. He never thought that Tianyin's cultivation would be higher than his. And not just by a little. Get lost. Sect Master Huaxian jumped up and raised his leg to kick Tianyin. But Tianyin quickly dodged to the side. Just as Sect Master Hua Kuan got up, he waved his palm and slammed it towards Yifutian. The violent force suppressed everything, and even the surrounding sand was swept up, turning it into a sand dragon. This was his famous ultimate skill, the Heavenly Dragon Palm, an earth-level martial art. However, Tianyin's fist was faster than him. Bang! Sect Master Hua Ken was knocked to the ground by Tianyin's fist. Tianyin's fist broke a few of Sect Master Hua Ken's teeth, but Sect Master Hua Ken didn't fall to the ground. It was just a relatively light injury. If he was serious, Sect Master Huaxian would not have been able to get up. His head would have been smashed by a punch. The gap between the two was too big. Tianyin's current battle power was almost 70,000, while Sect Master Huaxuan's was only 40,000. The gap was not small. Who's still stubborn now? Tianyan said indifferently. Sect Master Huaxian was dazed again by the second punch. His eyes were filled with stars, and he could not see the surroundings clearly at all. No, impossible. How can your cultivation be so high? Sect Master Huaxian got up with difficulty. His face was already swollen like a pig's head. After the 2 punches, his teeth were about to fall off, and his voice was a little leaky. There are many things you don't know, and you still want to leave my corpse intact. Now should I leave your corpse intact, or should you leave mine intact? Tianyan revealed a devilish smile. In the eyes of Sect Master Huaxian, this smile was like the smile of a devil, a smile that wanted to drag him into the abyss. Die! The storage ring in Sect Master Huahuan's hand suddenly flashed, and a black object was thrown towards Tianyan. But Tianyan was already faster than Sect Master Huahuan. Tianyan pushed Sect Master Huahuan's hand back and kicked him. Boom! Accompanied by a series of explosions, Sect Master Huaqian was sent flying and rolled dozens of times. The armor on his body was blasted into smithereens. Fortunately, he had this armor. Otherwise, he would have been blown to pieces. However, his current situation was not much better. He spat out blood as soon as he turned around. His body twitched uncontrollably, and he couldn't stand up at all. I didn't expect you to have hidden weapons. The power is not bad, but it's a pity that your sneak attack speed is a bit slow. Tianyan smiled faintly. He had been keeping an eye on sect leader Huahuan. How could he not notice this minute change? After coughing out a few mouthfuls of blood, sect leader Huahuan raised his head to look at Tianyan and pleaded, "Please let me go. I won't tell anyone about this. It was all my fault before. As long as you let me go, Huatian sect will listen to your orders." Unable to resist, he finally chose to lower his head and beg for mercy. He didn't want to die. He had a bright future ahead of him. He was the sect leader of the Heavenly Splendor sect. If he were to die here, no one would be able to give him a proper burial. Do you think it's useful to beg for mercy now? If I beg for mercy, will you let me go? Tianyan sneered and said, "If you have a bit of backbone, I can still give you a quick death, but now." The inextinguishable flame in his hand rose up, and he threw it out, enveloping Sect Master Huaqian in an instant. Ah! Sect Master Huahuan cried out tragically as he was burned by the inextinguishable flame. One could only imagine the pain he was in. He kept rolling on the ground, but he didn't even have the strength to roll. He was punched twice by Tianyan, and then exploded by his own hidden weapon. How could he get up? Soon he couldn't struggle anymore. He was completely burned to death by the immortal fire. Ding! Successfully killed sect leader Huahuan. Gained 54,000 EXP. Heavenly Dragon Palm, Earth Level Martial Art. 100k EXP Pill. 3200 Crazy Point. It's a pity that he only got Heavenly Dragon Palm and 100k EXP Pill. It seems that even if he activated Luck Aura, he can only get a small part of it. Unless he's really lucky, he really can't get anything good. But Heavenly Dragon Palm is equal to Earth Level Martial Art. What else can he ask for? He immediately took sect leader Huahuan's storage ring. There was a lot of wealth inside, but most of them were medicinal pills and gold. There were also some good quality spirit tools. As for martial arts, it was unlikely that they could be found here. They were all stored within the magnificent sect, and could not be carried around. He gently stretched out his hand, and Heaven Dragon Palm appeared in the palm of his hand from the inventory. A thick book of Heaven Dragon Palm appeared in front of him, which means that he can give this martial art to Shi Shuiyin. The only disadvantage is that he can't cultivate it. After cultivating it, the book will disappear, and he can't sell it. If he can sell it after learning it, he can make a profit. I'll leave this martial art to Jade Palace. No, if I cultivate it, won't I expose something? Tianyan frowned, and finally put the martial art back into the inventory, and chose to sell it. 8,000 Crazy Point. Worthy of being an Earth-level martial art. Tianyan is very satisfied with the price. He doesn't plan to increase proficiency. Who told him to be so poor? He just spent 500k Crazy Point, and the remaining Crazy Point is too little. Immediately he looked at the burnt body of sect leader Huahuan, and gently waved his hand. A pile of soil rolled up and covered the body. Although sect leader Hua Huan has a grudge against him, he can still bury the body with some soil. Fortunately, it's only sect leader Hua Huan. If someone ran away, it would be troublesome. Tianyan doesn't want to let them know that he can control heaven's immersing ancient ruins. He will only let his aunt know about it. When he goes back, he will definitely talk to Shi Shuiyan and let her arrange for heaven's immersing ancient ruins to be the second stronghold. Compared to Jade Palace, heaven's immersing ancient ruins is much stronger. It's time to go back in case something happens. Tianyan looked around and quickly rushed back to Jade Palace. He will go back to improve the strength of Jade Palace and strive to improve the comprehensive strength of Jade Palace to second level in a short period of time. At the same time, on the side of Jade Palace, something strange began to happen. In an instant, the sky turned dark. A black cloud pressed down on them, giving off a depressing feeling. Chapter 91. Black clouds loomed over the city, and a huge pressure came from afar. The elite disciples in Jade Palace came out one after another, and those with low cultivation were arranged to evacuate quickly. They immediately noticed that something was wrong, and immediately arranged to evacuate from the back mountain of Jade Palace. Unless they are surrounded, they can still evacuate smoothly. But not long after the evacuation, someone came back to report. Palace Lord, there is also a strong guard in the back mountain, and they won't let us pass. The deacon who came back in a hurry reported. It seems that they are ready to go all out. Shi Shuiyan frowned. Sure enough, the forces that came to Jade Palace are not alone, but in a large group. They are led by a group of old men. They look like the type who stepped into a coffin, but the aura released from their body doesn't look like the type who stepped into a coffin at all. And this is not just one but 6. The 6 old men have the traces of time on their faces. One by one, deep ravine is carved on their face. The light flashing in their eyes is not as bright as when they were young. They are just hanging on to their last breath. The 6 of them are the old ancestors of 3 forces, and their cultivation is at the peak of core condensation, only 1 step away from spirit core realm. But this step they have been unable to break through. In this state, it can be said that they climbed out of a coffin. If it wasn't for their sect master being killed, they really wouldn't come out of seclusion. This is too painful. Their lifespan is not long. Coming out in this state is undoubtedly a waste of their lifespan. But now they have to come out. The situation is urgent. They have to come out. Their sect master had been killed, but they were hiding in the sect without saying a word. That would be a joke to the world. Moreover, the other party was a woman. In this situation where men were superior to women, how could they swallow this insult? One is at the peak of core condensation. The rest are at the 8th or 9th level of core condensation. Not everyone can reach the peak of core condensation. When reaching core condensation, their lifespan is as long as 400 or 500 years. And looking at their state, their lifespan is almost up. Living for 400 to 500 years was already at the level of an old monster. If he wanted to live longer, he would have to break through to the next level to be able to live longer. A spirit core stage cultivator could live for at least 800 or 900 years, or even 1,000 years. But this cultivation was not easy to break, especially when they were old. Palace Master, what should we do now? Great Elder Mou has returned with a dignified face. Jade Palace's disadvantage is too obvious. Without Tianyan, their strength has plummeted. I was just about to go out and see how I can get Tianyan out, but I didn't expect them to be here so soon. Shi Shuiyan was extremely anxious when she learned that Tianyan was trapped. She was about to go to the heavens immersing ancient ruins, but it was too late. These old farts immediately surrounded him, as if they had received some news, and quickly rushed over. Without Tianyan's strength, it would be much more difficult to deal with these old geezers. Even though the cultivation of these old farts had declined, and could not be compared to when they were at their peak, they still possessed great power, and could not be underestimated. Palace Master, this time it's all our fault. Great Elder Mou felt guilty. It has nothing to do with you. That kid must have done something, otherwise he wouldn't have stayed inside for so long. Shi Shuiyan said solemnly. Now let's focus on this group of old farts. At this time, the 6 old men came over. Each step was so heavy. 6 late-stage core condensation cultivators. Their aura is so strong that it can be imagined. This was really the full strength of their sect. Including other elite deacons, they surrounded the place, so that not even a drop of water could pass through. With the current situation of Jade Palace, there is no way for them to break out. They will only be ruthlessly suppressed. You kids, it seems that this old man hasn't come out for a long time. Do you think this is your world? Peak core condensation cultivator is the old ancestor of Wing sect, old ancestor Wuxia. You killed so many of our people. It seems that this account has to be settled. Next to him is a slightly weaker old man, but he is also at 9th level core condensation. This is the old ancestor of Spirit sect, old ancestor Tianfeng. Yes, we haven't come out for so long. Do you all think that we have completely disappeared? When we were here, you weren't even born yet. The old ancestor of Wind Pavilion is old ancestor Feng Yun, also at 9th level core condensation. Their lowest cultivation is at 9th level core condensation. Otherwise they wouldn't be called old farts. These 3 are the representatives of their respective sects, and they are currently the most senior old ancestor. Several old ancestors spoke one after another. A very oppressive aura came over them, making many people breathless. Is that so, you old farts? Although our Jade Palace is a first-level faction, it doesn't mean that we are weaker than you. At this time, 3 old ancestors came out of Jade Palace. All of them are old women, but they still walk so calmly. They are the old ancestor who has been in seclusion for a long time. Now they are forced to come out of seclusion. Their cultivation is not high, only at 7th level core condensation. But compared to what Wing sect said before, they are only at 1st level core condensation, which is too exaggerated. They are all at 7th level core condensation. And in this continent, they are also the most powerful characters. So you are not dead yet. It seems that you are really hard to survive. Old ancestor Wuxia sneered. Now let's make it clear. You killed so many of our people. Now I will give you a choice. Either surrender to us, merge with our sects, and become Dao companions with other disciples, or the result is a bloodbath in your Jade Palace. No matter which one they choose, it will end in a tragedy. Especially the first one. That would be the ultimate humiliation. Normally they like each other. They can only be called Dao companions. According to the current situation, they can only be called slaves. You want us to be your slaves? Dream on. We would rather fight to the last man than to give you what you want. Old ancestor Bing Xian's eyes are cold. She absolutely won't give up. Is that so? Then I will massacre your Jade Palace. This is the price you have to pay. Old ancestor Wuxia sneered. Do it. At the same time when he shouted to start, it is not on their side, but on the inside of Jade Palace. Someone suddenly took action and stabbed at the people on the side. Poochie. A blood rose bloomed in the air, followed by 2, 3, one by one. The disciples were pierced through. The sudden change left many people dumbfounded. Bastard, you traitors! Shi Shuiyun's eyes are cold. Her figure flashed quickly, trying to intercept these traitors, but an old ancestor quickly surrounded her and fiercely slapped her. Bang! Shi Shuiyun was shocked back. She didn't gain the slightest advantage. She followed those traitors back. Generally there are not many, only 4 or 5 of them. They are all traitors here. Their cultivation is not low. Some even reached spirit refinement realm, and some even entered heaven's immersing ancient ruins. The disciple with a little bit of focused training turned out to be a traitor. This result is really hard to accept. Haha, you didn't expect this, right? Without that brat, do you think you can form any kind of influence? I heard that Brat's cultivation level has reached 9th level of core condensation. He is really monstrous. Old ancestor Wuxia sneered. Locked in heaven's immersing ancient ruins, I think he can't come out, or he died in there. What else can you do now? They rushed here so quickly. It turns out that there is a traitor here. When they learned that Yi Tianyan can't come out of heaven's immersing ancient ruins, they quickly rushed here. There is no wall that can keep secret, especially now that there is a traitor, so the situation is even more serious. Yi Tianyun's strength is completely exposed, so he can deceive others, but he can't deceive them. It is because of Yi Tianyun that they dare not attack at will. Now that he is gone, they quickly rushed here. God knows what other trump card Yi Tianyun has, so to be cautious, they did not attack. At the same time, Yi Tianyun, who was rushing back, felt a chill in his body. Something is wrong. Strange, why do I have a bad feeling? Hurry back. Yi Tianyun's eyes are cold, and hurriedly accelerated his running speed. Chapter 92. They don't know how strong Yi Tianyun is, but since he can easily kill so many strong cultivators, then his cultivation is definitely not low. They speculate that Yi Tianyun is at least 9th level core condensation, which is the same level as them. Their cultivation is the same, but in terms of physique, Yi Tianyun is definitely stronger. This is the advantage of being young. They are old bastards, and if they fight for a while, their lifespan will be shortened by a few years. This is definitely not something they want to see. After enduring for so long, they finally heard the excellent news. That is, Yi Tianyun is locked in heaven's immersing ancient ruins. Now that the spy in Jade Palace has returned, it's also to give them a blow, but also to not accidentally hurt them during the war. It's a pity. Such a monstrous genius is trapped in heaven's immersing ancient ruins. I don't know how he got in, but he is trapped in there. Even if he doesn't die, after 3 years, Jade Palace will be gone. Old Ancestor Wen Tian smiled and said, "Other people think that Jade Palace has some kind of terrifying trump card. Don't you think I don't know? Except for a few old bastards. Now there is no one left. What do you have to fight against us?" Old Ancestor Wen Tian kept attacking them, making them waver, instilling the idea that if they don't surrender, they will die. "I will give you one last chance. If you choose to surrender, I will treat you well. If you resist, you will die." Old Ancestor Wen Tian glanced at them coldly. They don't have much hope in Shuiyan, but they can convince those disciples with weak cultivation, and those who are afraid of death to come over. Those disciples looked at each other, and there is indeed a bit of wavering in their eyes. In the face of 3 major forces, Old Ancestor, there is no Yi Tianyun. How can they resist? Shuiyan gently closed her eyes, and immediately took a deep breath and said, "If you want to surrender, then surrender. I will not blame you." As soon as she said that, many people looked at each other, especially the outer disciples. They basically did not hesitate to retreat. They are outer disciples. They don't have deep feelings for Jade Palace. There is no need for them to sacrifice their lives for Jade Palace. As for the official disciples, many of them were shaken. Should they continue to stay here? Staying here would only lead to death. All they could do was pointless resistance. As long as one wasn't blind, they would be able to see the situation around them. Just the 6 old ancestors were enough to make people tremble. Their strength was several times stronger than before. Some official disciples hesitated, and finally chose to stand up, leave Jade Palace, and come to the opposite camp. The few elders all shook their heads, but did not scold them. Their lives were their own, and they could not do anything about it. "What are you doing? Don't you trust the palace mistress?" At this time, a voice came from the crowd of disciples. The person who spoke first was none other than Jiulingyun, who was brought back by Yi Tianyun. Jiulingyun stood up and pointed at them, her face red. In her opinion, after joining Jade Palace, she shouldn't have left. The elders were shocked. They didn't expect that the first one to stand up was this inconspicuous little girl, as if to defend their dignity, the dignity of their Jade Palace. The most important thing is that Yi Tianyun brought back, this time in this crisis, she chose to stand up for Jade Palace without any fear. The old ancestor on the opposite side showed a sarcastic expression. "Isn't this nonsense? Staying here is courting death. Who wants to die?" At this time, someone came over and whispered to Old Ancestor Wen Tian, and immediately Old Ancestor Wen Tian sneered. "Oh, so it's that kid who brought back. No wonder you are willing to speak for Jade Palace. This is the truth. What's the point if you lose your life? Compared to this, I need to defend the dignity of Jade Palace, protect the Jade Palace that young master Yi wants to protect. Even if I die, I will protect Jade Palace. Jiu Lingyun's eyes are full of determination. Her cultivation is not high, but her words are full of momentum. Yes, Jade Palace is not bad to us. I would rather die in battle. I will protect Jade Palace. I have no parents since I was a child. Jade Palace raised me. I will also protect Jade Palace with my life. One by one, they remember that Jade Palace is not bad to them. Since the Palace Lord and the others are not willing to surrender, they are even more unwilling to surrender. One by one, their heart was wavering, but now they immediately become firm. They are driven by Jiu Lingyun. Shi Shuiyan's beautiful eyes flashed with a strange light. She didn't expect Jiu Lingyun to have this kind of ability. She has some leadership ability. Haha, a group of idiots. I will let you know what is hell. Protect with your life? Bullshit. Old Ancestor Wen Tian laughed. Go catch them all, especially that girl. I want to see if you are not afraid of death. As soon as the order was given, they all moved. All of them rushed towards Jade Palace. Their killing intent surged towards Tianyin. 6 Old Ancestor moved at the same time. All of a sudden, Shi Shuiyan and the others immediately pulled out their sword. All of them rushed forward, not daring to relax. 3 Old Ancestor and Shi Shuiyan are the vanguard, but at most they can resist 4 Old Ancestor. The other 2 can only rely on the other elders to resist, but the gap between their cultivation is too big. They can't resist for long. Bang! One by one, Jade Palace's disciples were sent flying. They are either seriously injured or fainted. The disciples who came to kill them are merciless. On the other hand, the traitorous disciples were sneering at them from afar. They felt that their choice was the wisest. If they still stayed there, only death awaited them. If not, they would be captured and brought back. At that time, it was unimaginable how they would be treated. Hehe, the ancestor ordered us to capture you. Little girl, you were quite stubborn just now. When we capture you, let's see if you'll still be so stubborn. The disciple who came over laughed sinisterly. His expression was ferocious, and he looked extremely evil. Jiu Lingyun's face didn't change. She is holding a long sword ready to resist. I'd rather die than let you take me away, Jiu Lingyun said and put the long sword across her neck, ready to commit suicide, but thinking that she will never see Tianyin again. She will never be able to take care of her brother. She can't help but shed tears, but she didn't regret it. She will never regret it. You want to commit suicide? Impossible. The disciple who is at the 4th level of spirit refinement realm rushed over. His speed is faster. He reached out and hit the long sword in Jiu Lingyun's hand, then grabbed her arm. Suddenly Jiu Lingyun can't move. The cultivation gap between the two is too big. She can't resist at all. Let's see you, little girl. How are you going to commit suicide? Hehe, you look a bit ordinary, but your figure is not bad. The disciple smiled, licked his tongue and looked at her body. Jiu Lingyun's face is pale. Her mouth moved slightly, ready to bite her tongue to commit suicide. At this moment, a silver light crossed the sky. The disciple was hit by the light and flew out. With a bang, the disciple rolled a few times on the ground. There is no more movement. At this time, a tall snow wolf appeared in everyone's sight. This snow wolf is arranged by Tianyin to guard here. His order is very simple, specifically to protect Shi Shuiyan and Jiu Lingyun. If they are in danger, immediately appear to protect them. The appearance of a snow wolf shocked many people. How can there be a demon beast here? And its cultivation is as high as 7th level of core condensation. Howl! The snow wolf looked up to the sky and roared, followed by a dense number of snow wolves. Their cultivation is not high, but it is enough to block some spirit refinement realm or body refinement realm cultivators. At the same time, Tianyin, who is running in the distance, heard the system beep. Ding! Successfully killed Wing Sect disciple. Gained 2,800 EXP, 600 crazy point, 50 forging proficiency. Tianyin is stunned, although the snow wolf is far away. But if it kills a demon beast or a human, he will also get EXP. Therefore, he was completely capable of leveling up by staying at home and letting the snow wolf slay the demonic beasts. The most important thing now, of course, is not the EXP, but he knows one thing. That is, someone is coming. Those old bastards, they really came. Very good. Then this time I will clear the place. Tianyan looked up. Not far away is already covered with snow. They have reached the range of Jade Palace. Chapter 93. A core condensation stage snow wolf appeared in everyone's sight, and suddenly shocked a lot of people. Generally speaking, demon beasts don't dare to enter human territory at will. But not only did it come in, but it also brought a group of snow wolves. While he was still in a daze, the snow wolf suddenly pounced on the enemies surrounding Jiu Lingyun, and killed them all in 2 or 3 moves. He showed no mercy at all, simply killing anyone on sight. Tianyan's order is very ruthless, that is, whoever is hostile they will be killed. Since they are already hostile, what's the point of keeping them alive? Oh, the snow wolf looked up and howled, and countless snow wolves rushed up. But they didn't rush to Jade Palace's disciples, but to the invading enemies. They didn't touch a single hair of Jade Palace, they only attacked the invaders. The snow wolf didn't stop. It rushed in front of Shi Shuiyan, and rushed towards Tianfeng Old Ancestor, who repeatedly forced Shi Shuiyan to retreat. Tianfeng Old Ancestor, who originally planned to give Shi Shuiyan a fatal blow, turned his eyes and said angrily, "Beast, get out of here!" Tianfeng Old Ancestor swung his sword and cut the snow wolf. Dang! As if he cut a hard iron block, the snow wolf was shocked back, and there was only a faint scar on its body. After the snow wolf's cultivation breakthrough, its fur is much harder than before. As long as it's not too shocking, it can resist. It's a strong meat shield. Roar! The snow wolf stood in front of Shi Shuiyan, and grinned at Tianfeng Old Ancestor, full of hostility and killing intent. "I didn't expect you to raise a demon beast. I really didn't expect it." Tianfeng Old Ancestor felt numb. This snow wolf's fur is really hard. Tianfeng Old Ancestor and others were shocked. Shi Shuiyan and the others were also shocked. They didn't expect a core condensation level demon beast to come to their rescue. The most important thing is that it has been guarding Shi Shuiyan and Jiu Lingyun. Could it be Tianyan's demonic beast? Shi Shuiyan was stunned. This was because she saw that Xue Lang was stubbornly guarding her. The other elders were being fiercely attacked, but he didn't care at all. It was as if he was air. He didn't care about him at all. What Elder Yi's demonic beast? Elder Mou, who had been pushed back, was shaken. He felt that this was inconceivable. Subduing a demonic beast was too difficult, and it was even more impossible for someone with a high cultivation. They didn't know that this snow wolf's cultivation level was just at the body refinement stage, but now it has reached the core condensation stage. When Tianyan first returned, he had Snow Wolf hide outside and watch for any fish that slipped through the net. Thus, while he was leveling up, Snow Wolf was also constantly gaining experience. That's just my guess. Shi Shuiyan's gaze was complicated. Soon after, she tried shouting, "Snow Wolf, go and help the others." But Snow Wolf didn't move. It just stayed beside Shi Shuiyan. It doesn't listen to her orders, but it doesn't have any hostility towards her. It only listens to Tianyan's orders. It doesn't listen to anyone else, unless Tianyan orders it to listen to someone. It seems that you can't command it. I don't know how you got this snow wolf to help you, but even with this snow wolf, your Jade Palace can't change the fate of destruction. Old Ancestor Tianfeng sneered. Is that so? I feel like you can't change the fate of destruction? A familiar voice, a familiar figure appeared in everyone's sight. His cold eyes swept over them, and murderous intent rose to the sky. Tianyan. When Shi Shuiyan and others saw Tianyan, their heart trembled. They don't know when Tianyan has become the backbone of Jade Palace. The entire Jade Palace can't do without him. His appearance caused many people's hearts to tremble. You are that kid. Didn't you say that you were trapped in heaven's immersing ancient ruins? How can you come out? Old Ancestor when Tian was shocked. Is this important? Tianyan nodded to Snow Wolf. Kill them all, start with the weakest, go. Awa. Snow Wolf immediately rushed to the weakest Snow Wolf. All the summoned Snow Wolves rushed to the weakest Snow Wolf. With just one sentence, all the Snow Wolves immediately changed their attack. This immediately confirmed their guess. That snow wolf is Yi Tianyun's demon beast. I didn't expect this snow wolf to listen to you. But even if you come back this time, you still can't change the fate of the Jade Palace. Old Ancestor Wen Tian snorted, and immediately signaled two of the Old Ancestor to give up fighting with Jade Palace Elder and go to kill Yi Tianyun. Yi Tianyun looked up, and their data appeared in front of him. The highest combat power is Old Ancestor Wen Tian, but it's only 140,000 combat power. In his eyes, it's not worth mentioning. Is that so? Let's try it? Yi Tianyun's eyes immediately burst with divine light. Dragon God secret art ignited. His body was instantly covered with dragon scales, and his combat power increased crazily. Activate crazy damage, quadruple damage. Activate crazy experience, quadruple experience. Double EXP pill take. Double EXP pill suddenly exploded his combat power. From the initial 60,000 combat power, it suddenly soared to 210,000 combat power. If not me, then who else? Compared to before, it's tens of thousands of combat power. This is the horror of crazy mode, on the original basis, suddenly stacked 4 times. The 10,000 combat power is increased by power bracelet set. Otherwise it would be 240,000 combat power, which is even more terrifying. Excluding the power bracelet set, that's 50,000 combat power, quadruple. That's 200,000 combat power, plus 10,000 combat power. That's 210,000 combat power. A terrifying aura swept out in all directions, instantly suppressing everyone, including the Old Ancestors. A sense of fear surged from the heart, but more was a sense of powerlessness. Under such a terrifying momentum, they immediately felt the gap, an insurmountable gap. This momentum is at the spirit core stage. Their hearts trembled. Yi Tianyun's cultivation has not reached the spirit core stage, but under the quadruple strength, it gave them the feeling of a spirit core stage powerhouse. The next moment, in Yi Tianyun's hand, a blood-red spear appeared. This spear is the sole tool that exploded before. The sky full of evil chi was released from the blood fiend divine spear, constantly spreading to the surroundings. Wherever it goes, it can affect their minds. At this moment, under the bonus of the soul tool, his comprehensive combat power is as high as 230,000. Blood fiend soaring sky. A bloody light flashed in Yi Tianyun's eyes, twisting the blood fiend divine spear in his hand, with a loud bang. With him as the center, a blood fiend rushed to the sky, and immediately he turned into a blood arrow piercing through the sky. Aiming at the nearest practitioner, regardless of the level of their cultivation, he pierced through in one fell swoop. Swish, swish, swish. A blood arrow shot out, piercing through one practitioner after another. The practitioner who was pierced was stunned, feeling a little cold in his chest. He looked down and found that there was already a bloody hole. Bang, bang, bang. In an instant, these practitioners exploded, turned into soaring evil chi, and integrated into the evil chi in this area, becoming even more terrifying. Combined with earth-level martial arts, who can stop him? Chapter 94. Ding successfully killed Spirit Sect Disciple, gained 20,000 EXP, 1000 Crazy Point Restore Pill. Ding successfully killed Wing Sect Disciple, gained 28,000 EXP, 1300 Crazy Point. Blacksmith Mastery increased by 50. Ding successfully killed Profound Soul Old Ancestor, gained 110,000 EXP, 28800 Crazy Point. Soul Subduing Secret Art, Earth Level. Profound Ice Divine Armor, Middle Grade Spirit Tool, Cold Ice Blade, High Grade Spirit Tool. Ding successfully killed. A blood arrow shot out. Several people directly exploded, turned into countless EXP and treasures. The data kept jumping, and the treasures kept falling into the inventory. Unfortunately, there is no Crazy Point double card. Otherwise he would have more Crazy Point. But double card is too expensive, he can't afford it now. And at the moment he can't care so much, kill every enemy he sees, show no mercy. Since he has been forced to this point, there is no need to show mercy. He left Snow Wolf here, to a large extent, to prevent these old bastards from coming to his door. He doesn't believe that these old bastards will be willing to swallow their anger. And sure enough, they came to his door. If it weren't for the fact that the situation didn't allow him to do so, and that he was afraid that there might be an ambush over there, he would have killed his way to the door long ago to prevent any future troubles. Now take this opportunity to kill all of them. Snow Wolf is also madly killing around. Countless EXP is constantly pouring in. The most important thing is that it is also leveling up. After killing a lot of cultivators, it ushered in another breakthrough, killing to 8th level core condensation. Its fur suddenly became harder. One man and one beast are so crazy killing. They don't need help from Jade Palace. Tianyan killed an old ancestor and a group of talented deacons. Wherever he goes, all of them are killed by him. No one can withstand his blade. Who could resist a cultivator comparable to a spirit core stage cultivator? Quick, stop him! Old ancestor Wen Tian shouted loudly, ignoring the old ancestor of Jade Palace, and turned to intercept Tianyan. If this continues, they won't be able to kill the old ancestor of Jade Palace. They will be finished. Want to leave? It's not that simple. Old ancestor Bing Xian coldly snorted. Her withered palm slapped forward, and a burst of cold ice wrapped around it. Get lost! Patriarch Wen Tian roared in rage as a domineering energy swept out, sending the ice flying. However, the ice continued to surround him. Although it didn't deal any damage to him, it could at least hold him back. The other ancestral patriarchs burst out one after another. Their originally pale faces had a tinge of redness. This was the result of their blood qi, and they knew that this was their best opportunity. As long as they wait for Tianyan to finish harvesting everything, then the remaining old ancestors wouldn't be able to do anything. Tianyan, let me help you. Shi Shuyan's eyes were cold. She quickly dashed forward, waving her sword to block the ancestors, not letting them get close to Tianyan. Tianyan glanced at him, and the two of them smiled at each other. They were already of one mind. Then he stabbed with his long spear. Killing one ancestor with one move was not difficult at all. For a time, screams sounded incessantly. The disciples who betrayed Jade Palace trembled all over. Looking at this scene, they were dumbfounded. The one who said that he had no blood qi and cultivation waste is actually so powerful. Whether it's spirit refinement realm or core condensation realm, Tianyan killed one ancestor with one move, without any pause. The same is true for the Snow Wolf. He killed one ancestor with one bite. And with the snow wolves surrounding him, there is no place to escape. Just relying on one person and one beast. They have already thrown away their armor, but they can't escape. The first ones that Tianyan killed are naturally the ones with low cultivation. If the one with high cultivation tries to stop him, he will naturally fight back without any hesitation. Roar! At this time, suddenly Wing Sek's old ancestor Wen Tian roared. A soul tool level giant axe appeared in his hand. His power rapidly increased. Blood qi madly surged up. The original old body became young and full of elasticity. This strange change is because he was angry. He stimulated the blood qi buried in his body. The result is that his lifespan is reduced by many years. But now, if they don't stop Tianyan, all the people they brought with them will die. Fuck off. Old ancestor Wen Tian angrily waved the axe to the side. Like a full moon sword light spread out. Old ancestor Bing Xian and the others were shocked flying. They all felt their face turned red, and then vomited blood. Under this wave, they all suffered a lot of injuries. The power of old ancestor level, combined with the power of a soul tool level weapon, the power that erupts out is no small matter. Not only old ancestor Wen Tian, but the other old ancestors also took out their soul tool. Originally they didn't want to use it. If they want to use the soul tool, they need to consume blood qi. This is undoubtedly reducing their lifespan. As old ancestors, they can still take out a soul tool. After taking out the soul tool, anyone who tries to surround them will be easily sent flying, at least lightly injured. The three strongest old ancestors with the soul tool in hand rushed to kill Tianyan. With the support of the soul tool and the stimulation of the blood qi in their body, their combat power has reached 170,000, a terrifying number. If they were a little younger, they would definitely be even more terrifying. Brat, don't be arrogant. Old Ancestor Wen Tian roared, waved the chaotic heaven sacred axe in his hand, and fiercely chopped down at Yi Tianyin. A golden light flashed, as if the space was going to be cut in half. The terrifying light directly locked onto Yi Tianyin's aura, leaving him nowhere to escape. Yi Tianyin's eyes flashed coldly, and he waved the blood fiend divine spear in his hand, aimed at Old Ancestor Wen Tian, and a towering murderous aura surged out of his body. Coupled with the dragon god's secret art, he exerted the dragon god bloodline in his body to the extreme, and a blood-colored divine dragon coiled around his body and the spear. Roar! A dragon roar sounded, as if the blood of the dragon race had merged with the surrounding murderous aura, turning him into a huge blood dragon that soared on the ground. Break! Gently spitting out a word, Yi Tianyin turned into a blood light penetrating through the air. The blade light instantly collapsed, like a punctured bubble. It disappeared as soon as it touched the blade light. This blade light looks very overbearing, but in front of Yi Tianyin, it is so fragile. Boom! In the end, the domineering spear pierced through Old Ancestor Wen Tian, and then he was sent flying, the chaotic heaven sacred axe in his hand falling to the ground. After flying for some distance, he landed heavily on the ground and coughed up a mouthful of blood. There was a huge bloody hole in his body, and it was in the position of his heart. His internal organs were directly smashed by the spear, and he had no choice but to die. Chapter 95. Old Ancestor Wen Tian was killed by Yi Tianyin's spear. There was a big hole in his chest. His whole body twitched a little. He opened his mouth. He wanted to say something, but he was seriously injured, plus his body is old. He has already reached the point where he can't speak. Immediately, his head tilted and he died. In addition to dying with his eyes wide open, there is no other movement. Ding! Successfully killed Old Ancestor Wen Tian. Gained 120,000 EXP. 3000 crazy point. Obtained Chaotic Heaven set. Chaotic Heaven Sacred Axe. Low-grade Soul Tool. Chaotic Heaven Divine Armor. Low-grade Soul Tool. Chaotic Heaven Battle Boots. Low-grade Soul Tool. Yi Tianyin looked at the Old Ancestor who surrounded him coldly. Just a look, and they are scared to retreat. The strongest Old Ancestor Wen Tian was killed by a spear. The rest of the Old Ancestors are not as good as Old Ancestor Wen Tian. What can they do? The Old Ancestor of Jade Palace gasped. They all saw Yi Tianyin before, a waste without blood chi. Some Old Ancestors are not very happy. After all, this is left by the previous palace lord, and it is against the rules. If it wasn't for Shi Shuiyan protecting Yi Tianyin, she said that if Yi Tianyin is kicked out, she will choose to leave Jade Palace. With this as a threat, many Old Ancestor chose to recognize Yi Tianyin. The position of palace lord can't move Shi Shuiyan at all. She would rather leave with Yi Tianyin than stay in Jade Palace. Otherwise, they will really kick Yi Tianyin out. This is already benevolent. If it was someone else, they would have already slapped him to death. Now the power shown by Yi Tianyin completely suppressed them. It can be said that a spear can leave a hole in their body. Old Ancestor Wen Tian was killed in a second. How can they be afraid of him? Elder Mou and the others are also dumbfounded. They haven't seen Yi Tianyin for a while. It seems that Yi Tianyin's cultivation has increased again? How did he cultivate his cultivation? They tried their best but couldn't improve it. And these Old Ancestors also cultivated their whole life to reach this level. Shi Shuiyan's eyes flickered with excitement. Jiu Lingyun was the same. She blushed when she saw Yi Tianyin. This was her young mastery. So what if I'm arrogant? Let me see who can be more arrogant than me. After Yi Tianyin said this, he immediately turned into a red light and rushed towards the Old Ancestor. The Old Ancestor was so scared that he wished he had an extra leg. He turned around and ran. But how could his speed compare to Yi Tianyin's? In the blink of an eye, he arrived in front of him. The blood fiend divine spear pierced through, easily piercing through his aged body. Ding successfully killed Old Ancestor Tian Feng. Gained 110. The higher the level, the harder it is to level up. This is inevitable. And now he still needs to kill a dozen or 20, otherwise he would need more. Kill! Tianyan put away the blood fiend divine spear and changed to frost fist. The murderous aura suddenly disappeared. The surrounding pressure suddenly disappeared. Soon after, a streak of frost fell from the sky, and with a bang, many people were frozen. This frost fist can't cause any damage to the six-old ancestor, so he immediately used his soul tool. Now that the six-old ancestor are killed, he will use frost fist. He needs to practice proficiency. Don't even think about leaving. Absorbing Star's great technique. Tianyan raised his hand. Under his terrifying suction force, several people around him were fiercely sucked over, sticking to his palm. The spiritual energy in their bodies was continuously extracted and turned into rich experience. If he extracted the spiritual power of the six-old ancestor at will, he will definitely get a lot of EXP. Definitely more EXP than killing them. He gets EXP when he absorbs, and EXP when he kills. Under the double superposition, he will level up even faster. Under the reasonable elimination of many people, most of the old ancestor was finally cleared. All the elites brought by the three major forces were completely eliminated. The rest are estimated to be some outer disciples, and there are also ordinary disciples staying in the sect. Chapter 96. Looking at the pile of corpses in front of them, some of them didn't experience this kind of killing. They can't bear to look at this side. Some of them vomited. The smell of blood was too strong. The blood that flowed out from the corpses dyed the snow-covered ground red. Those who have experienced this kind of battle are still calm. This is normal for them. The weak are prey to the strong. If they don't resist, they will die. It's finally over. Tianyan looked at the pile of corpses in front of him. His eyes are cold. There is no trace of pity. If he showed even the slightest bit of mercy, he would only bring death upon himself. This is mercy to the enemy. It is equal to cruelty to himself. Immediately, the disciples of Jade Palace began to clean up these corpses and roll up the spoils of war. But now there is a big problem. That is the disciples who chose to surrender. Now they don't know what to do. But one thing can be known, they regret it. They didn't expect Jade Palace to be so strong. Now they don't know what to do with them. Will they kill them, or choose to let them go? At least those traitors have been beheaded on the spot, no mercy at all. When they rebelled, they were doomed to die. Palace Lord, what should we do with them? Elder Mou looked at Shi Shuiyun and asked. Let them go. There is no reason to keep them. After all, they did nothing wrong. They just chose their own way of survival. Shi Shuiyun waved her hand, indicating that they can leave. Thank you, Palace Lord. After they were pardoned, they knelt down, kowtowed to Tianyan, and quickly fled. It is impossible for them to continue to stay in Jade Palace. And in the future, Jade Palace will not take them in. Shi Shuiyun didn't blame them. It's just a good time to get rid of a group of disloyal disciples. The remaining disciples are worthy of training. Tianyan, if it wasn't for you this time. Shi Shuiyun just wanted to thank her. Tianyan reached out and covered her mouth. To be honest, according to my previous temperament, everything I do is for Aunt. In fact, what happens to Jade Palace has nothing to do with me. It just so happens that I am now an elder of Jade Palace. So naturally I have a part in Jade Palace. Protecting Jade Palace is my duty. Tianyan's words were filled with righteousness, causing many disciples to look over, feeling extremely touched. Elder E, you're so cool. We'll listen to you from now on. That's right, Elder E. You were too amazing just now. It's great that you can become our elder. From now on, we'll do whatever Elder E asks us to do. They all crowded around him, their cheeks like flowers, and their eyes were filled with admiration. Ding! Completed protection achievement. Obtained permanent title Guardian. Wearing it will permanently double your defense. Tianyan was startled. The sudden message gave him a fright. He didn't expect there to be an achievement system. After protecting so many people of Jade Palace, he successfully got the title Guardian. The key is that he can get double the defense power. This was astonishing. The effects were so heaven-defying, doubling one's defensive strength, What kind of concept was that? He investigated the title Guardian and immediately showed the detailed information. Guardian title, double the defense power. Protect companions with more than 100 favorability points in a crisis for 500 people. He immediately knew what was going on with this condition. He protected them once before, but their favorability with Tianyan didn't exceed 100. So this achievement couldn't be completed. Now it's different. In the case of favorability breaking 100, he saved them in this crisis and completed the achievement quest at once. I can't see the achievement quest here, but I believe the conditions must be very harsh. Tianyan also wanted to see if there are other achievement quests, but he can't see them here. After all, seeing the amazing effect of the Guardian title, he can imagine that the title he gets in the future will bring even more amazing effect. Tianyan is so popular, the old ancestor is embarrassed. Now Tianyan's cultivation is higher than them. And the most important thing is that they were very angry at the beginning and wanted to drive Tianyan out. The three old ancestor looked at each other, and old ancestor Bing Exine walked out and said embarrassedly, "That elder I'm sorry, we shouldn't have treated you like this. I hope you can forgive us for our previous mistakes." The three of them are willing to bow their heads and apologize for what they did in the past. It's not easy for them to apologize at their age. I don't care about the past, not now, not in the future. I only listen to my aunt's orders, there is no need for the rest. Tianyan's words are still so straightforward, it's impossible to erase the past so easily. He still clearly remembers the days when he and Shi Shuiyan were dependent on each other. Everyone looked at him with disdain. Since he was asked to be an elder by Shi Shuiyan, he will fulfill his duty and protect Jade Palace. Of course, the most important thing is to protect Shi Shuiyan and Jiulingyun. Otherwise, he ordered Snow Wolf to protect the entire Jade Palace, not just the two of them. He is so biased, so selfish. Not only women hold grudges, but men also hold grudges. If it weren't for his strong cultivation, he believed that they would never bow their heads. They would still look at him with disdain. They are embarrassed, but at least Tianyan didn't turn around and leave. How can you talk to your elders like that? Shi Shuiyan gently knocked on his head and smiled. But I like it. When the old ancestors thought that Shi Shuiyan will help them, it seems that they were wrong. She would rather leave Jade Palace to protect Tianyan. So what respect for elders is nothing. She was born a rebel, but she rebelled for her loved ones. The other three elders showed a bit of a wry smile, but they can't say anything. Now that Tianyan is so strong, they should call him senior. Even if he is much younger than them, it's enough that his cultivation is higher than them. This is the rule of the master. Those with strong cultivation have to call him senior. The same goes for the three old ancestors. Well, let's hurry up and clean up this place. After a while, we will visit them in person and uproot the three forces. Shi Shuiyan's eyes are cold and murderous. Chapter 97. Tianyan doesn't need to participate in the rest of the cleaning work, but he can send Snow Wolf to help, so he can stay in Jade Palace. The rest of the finishing work is not very difficult. It is to seize all the assets of the three forces and put them into the property of Jade Palace. If left there, it will only be left there, or taken away by those disciples. So they will immediately send people to sweep the place. This process is not difficult. So Shi Shuiyan and the others quickly sent people to sweep the place. Tianyan stayed in Jade Palace, resting leisurely, counting the spoils of war. Because he killed a lot of old ancestors, so the things that dropped are excellent. For example, martial arts are earth level, weapons are soul tool level. Sure enough, killing this kind of super elite monster, the drop rate is amazing, which makes him feel satisfied. Old ancestor level drop rate is high, but I want so many earth level martial arts and weapons. They are useless. I will sell them all. Tianyan didn't keep them. He only has a pair of hands. He kept some that are very good. The rest are sold, or integrated into weapons to enhance his frost fist. What dropped can never be upgraded. The effect is relatively limited. It is not a heaven-defying level weapon, so he either sell it or buy it, and integrate it into weapons to enhance his Frost Fist. This is the most difficult thing for him. The crazy point is relatively small. Whether to sell it to upgrade or integrate it to upgrade. This is a difficult decision. Soul Tool level and Earth level martial arts. The price is almost 10,000 crazy point. This is not a small number. There are not so many old ancestors for me to kill. It is really difficult to earn. Tianyan shook his head. Crazy point can only be obtained by doing quests, killing monsters, and then selling things. In this area, there are very few strong monsters, so it is much more difficult to earn crazy point. After hesitating, he finally decided to upgrade Frost Fist first. This is a freezing divine tool. If the grade cannot be upgraded, it will be a waste. First upgrade this weapon. Try to insert the Soul Tool level into it and see. Tianyan tried to insert all the spirit tools that he obtained before. Do you want to fuse the Frost Blade into the Frost Fist? Yes. Ding, integration successful plus 3000 proficiency. Increase so much? But it is also normal. This is an upper grade spirit tool. Increase so much in one go. Merge again. Will. Tianyan fused all the spirit tools he had obtained before, including the old spirit tool that he had on him before. All of them were fused together. Finally, there was a pleasant voice. Ding. Successfully upgraded Frost Fist to medium-grade spiritual weapon. Next level requires 30,000 proficiency points. Attack range increased to 500 meters. Tianyan slapped his thigh. It really is worth it. Just as he was about to continue fusing, he suddenly thought of something. He slapped his head and shouted, "Am I stupid? I can forge my own weapon and try it out. Come to think of it, I've never tried it before. What will the price be if I forge my own weapon and sell it to the system?" Then, he immediately refined a superior grade spiritual weapon and placed it in his inventory. Like before, there was an option to sell it. Do you want to sell the upper grade spirit sword? The price is 1000 crazy points. High grade spirit tool is only 1000 crazy point. But it's good. At least it's better than the one I got from lottery draw, which only sells for a few hundred points. Most importantly, I can refine it. Tianyan's eyes lit up. He had been too busy previously, so he hadn't thought about these things. Only now did he remember that he could do this. I'm not selling. Let's upgrade this Frost Fist first. Do you want to fuse the high-grade spirit sword into the Frost Fist? Yes. Ding. Successfully integrated into Frost Fist, increasing 1000 proficiency. Since the Frost Fist was successfully upgraded to a middle-grade spirit weapon, the proficiency gained was much less. However, this was still acceptable. In any case, it was enough for him to be able to forge upper-grade spiritual weapons. Then, he continued to stuff all the spirit artifacts that he didn't need into the game, and madly increased his proficiency. Ding! Successfully upgraded the Frost Fist to a high-grade spiritual weapon. The freezing effect has been doubled, and the freezing range has been increased to 600 meters. The next level requires 50,000 proficiency points. Cool! Tianyan exclaimed. He must at least upgrade it to a soul tool. Otherwise the effect would be limited. Fuse again. Then he madly fused it, even throwing in a soul tool. When he learned that the thing he refined can be sold, and the price is not low, he was very willing to throw in the fusion to increase proficiency. This thing is more difficult to increase proficiency. It takes a lot of practice to increase proficiency. If punching the air can increase proficiency, he would have already upgraded the Frost Fist. Of course, the result is not like this. Only when he attacks the real enemy can he increase proficiency. Ding! Successfully upgraded the Frost Fist to a low-grade spiritual weapon. The freezing effect has been quadrupled. The freezing range has been increased to 1 kilometer. The attack has been carried with the freezing domain. The speed within 2 meters is super slow. The next level requires 200,000 proficiency points. When successfully upgraded to a soul tool, the effect has been doubled, and several more attributes have been added, which really made Tianyan exclaim. It's just that the next level requires more proficiency points. Weapons are relatively easy to upgrade, but martial arts are more difficult to upgrade. Tianyan frowned. The Dark North Divine Art requires 100,000 proficiency points at the beginning. It's crazy. Forget it, upgrade it. It's useless to sell it for crazy points. This time Tianyan is much more straightforward. He will not be as entangled as before. The Earth-level martial arts, including soul-calming secret art that he obtained from killing the old ancestor, were stuffed in. Ding! Successfully integrated soul-calming secret art. Dark North Divine Art gained 20,000 proficiency points. Ding! Successfully integrated. Tianyan entered the crazy fusion state again. When almost all the Earth-level martial arts were stuffed in, he finally upgraded these 2 Earth-level martial arts from low-grade Earth-level martial arts to middle-grade Earth-level martial arts in one go. It's not like before, from human-level martial arts to Earth-level martial arts in one go. That is, from Earth-level martial arts to Heaven-level martial arts, but upgraded to middle-grade Earth-level martial arts first. Successfully upgraded Dark North Divine Art to middle-grade Earth-level martial arts. The throughput has been doubled. The next level requires 300,000 proficiency points. Successfully upgraded Absorbing Star's Great Technique to middle-grade Earth-level martial arts. The absorption rate has been increased by 4 times. The next level requires 200,000 proficiency points. Both were upgraded to middle-grade Earth-level martial arts, among which the Absorbing Star's Great Technique required relatively low proficiency points. In essence, it is worse than Dark North Divine Art, and it is an extended version of Dark North Divine Art. Of course, the proficiency required is lower. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.